Hello, everyone. This is episode 76 of our podcast. It's called Directly to You. I am not joined by Parker. He's a ghost, Rick Parker. I am joined by Matt from Casualverse, a YouTube channel on this very website, or on YouTube if you're on podcast services. You can support this podcast by joining on youtube.com/fanatixfour and clicking that join button for $4.99. You get exclusive emotes, gaming time with us, loyalty badges, switch keys from time to time, access to the members only Discord. It's a fun time. Also, if you're in the Twitch streams, I'm going to be Twitch streaming single player Switch games pretty soon, because that's all my setup allows, because Apple hates Discord and vice versa. You know what I mean? So you can, subscribe for free with Twitch Prime by linking your Amazon Prime to your Twitch account, or you can give money for a Twitch subscription if that's what you're more into, twitch.tv/fanatixfour. But other than that, how are you, Matt? Also, who are you, Matt?
Man, you got that pledge out in the full force. Yes, I am. I'm Matt, or Casual, or however you want to put it. My channel's name is Casualverse. Feel free to check that out. I do a lot of I do animation stuff, do video game stuff, Nintendo stuff primarily. I'm going to be releasing my plan this time around is to release a video weekly. I'm trying to do like some restructuring, but you can find me there. You can find me on Twitter. Lower your expectations for the Twitter, but I try to have a good time on it.
Yeah, I'm like just starting not get Twitter, but use Twitter more often. And I'm seeing like the trends of like, oh yeah, people like when I post stuff like this specifically. I used to just pretty much use Twitter for promoting stuff, and then sometimes I'll have a random thing of like, this is stupid or good, whichever one.
I had Twitter for like the longest time, and I did not use it. I made the mistake of putting all my eggs in, diversification. I put all my eggs in one basket with Facebook, and that didn't turn out well for me. I probably will tell you about this sometime, but let that definitely be a lesson, guys. Have your stuff on multiple platforms, but yeah, Twitter. I'm really getting you. I'm really trying to. My Twitter's dead because I haven't used it like at all. It's just you talking about Rip Parker. I mean, rip this Twitter. It's so for the count on it. It's so dead. So I'm in the process of trying to revive it now.
Situation, because like, who uses Facebook anymore? So our Facebook is pretty much useless. But other than that, what are you playing? You playing any video games?
Man, I here's the kicker. There's so many games that I want to play. Like this is what I do. I collect like almost all the major Switch releases that come out, but I always have to feel like I gotta be productive at every step of the way. So I'll buy them, and then like my little sisters or something will play it. So I have to live through my little sisters to play them. Now I will play something small that I can pick up and play easily. I played Splatoon 2 primarily because I want to get my sister to play something other than Grand Theft Auto. I'll play Smash every now and then. I'll get pissed off by the computer or online, and it'll make me stay for like another 30 minutes, and then oh man, I feel so bad afterwards. But other than that, that's really it. There's a ton of games. There's so many games I want to play. Like, it's killing me. So many indie games I want to play too, but it's just that feeling. It's like I gotta be productive. I gotta be productive. So I'll never do it. It sucks so bad.
I'm on the opposite end of that spectrum. Where like the amount of games that I play, if I played more, I would feel more productive because it's, I'll be able to talk about more and like make more videos on different sorts of things and stuff like that. But for the most part, I mean, I'll be current on like the biggest main thing, and then I'll have Smash Brothers, which I never really stopped playing. I always like am playing Smash Brothers on some level. Although this week, my game playing situation has been different from usual, because usually I play my Switch at least like a couple hours a day. But this week has been weird because I've been working forever on the video that went up this week, and that stopped me from playing. And then I got a new Switch. I got the little battery boost one, the brand new one with the redder box. You know what I mean?
Oh snap! How's it treating you, man? Because that's tempting. Like
it's been a process. It's been a process because when I got it, that was a nightmare because it's it's like swapping everything over and doing all that stuff is just like not fun. And I did it at GameStop. So it was, and the guy that I did it with never did it before, which is weird. You would think that GameStop has done this several times. So I'm like trying to figure out as I go. I'm like, oh, I got to go here and then do this. Okay, I got to connect to the internet. All right, I got to connect the other one to the internet. Okay, I got to put the SD card in. All right, I got to, like, it's just a whole bunch of stuff that is like not laid out in the beginning of like, here, you're going to swap over your Switch. Here's what you need, and here's what you can do, and here's what you need to go to do that very specific thing. Like, there's a separate place to go to set up your profile, like to swap your profile from one Switch to another Switch, and then to switch your save file from one Switch to another Switch. So it's just like, that whole thing was, ugh. So I ended up losing my Fire Emblem save because if you're not active if you don't listen to this podcast much, I didn't buy Fire Emblem or get hashtag free product. I've been playing Parker's because I started playing. I mean, I like saw like all the hype for Fire Emblem and the good reviews and stuff like that, but I'm not usually into games like that. So I was like, I don't really want to play this. So we had the whole like game sharing situation, but then I ended up liking it a lot. So I was like, okay, I'm going to buy it, but I want to try to like beat the first house because I don't want to start all over again. I'm too deep in to do it all over again. So I did that whole thing and that got messed up. And now I don't even want to do it because I've got like 30 hours in and I was on like the last mission and I'm had to start all over again. So it's like I don't even want to bother with that. So it's like rip on that end. But other than that, Smash Brothers, like I said, that's a constant. I got Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist Nintendo Switch Edition.
You can feed the beast, Konami.
So for a while I was trying to get that because the Japanese one came out like 4 months ago or something like that. So I was like, oh, this game exists. I'm going to email Konami and say, hey, send me it because I want to make a video. And I never got an email back because I don't know what the contact is for that. I don't talk to Konami, so I don't have too many like reliable contacts there. So I just got to the point where it's like I just see a lot of people tweeting about it, and I saw like specifically on the creator and the J-Wits, who's a Nintendo YouTuber, and he does like anime stuff sometimes now too. Yeah,
oh,
like
he does?
He's been doing like, you know, like the Toonami level anime, you know, like the Yu-Gi-Ohs and whatnot.
Look at my man diversified.
So he's been talking about it a lot, and I was like, do I have to get Yu-Gi-Oh? I was like, I think I had to get Yu-Gi-Oh! So I've been like seeding the idea, you know, like posting it in tweets and in Twitch chats and talking about it in streams and stuff like that. I'm like, I think I might get Yu-Gi-Oh! And every time I say that, people are like, do it. And I posted on Twitter today. I was like, I did it. And then that was like one of my most active tweets of the week. So I was like, people like Yu-Gi-Oh, man. Like,
Yu-Gi-Oh! is a tried and true tradition, man. I mean, it's something really great about solving all of your problems with a kid's card game. Like I do. It's like, it sounds like a shot, but to be honest, I do. I love Yu-Gi-Oh! So much. I grew up with Toonami and Yu-Gi-Oh! and like the first gen Pokemon anime and all that other good stuff. So I love it. I love me some Kaba. I love the Joey stupid faces, man. It's, oh man. I can't as much as you know, everybody's a quote unquote fan of Konami. I can't blame you for getting it at all. Like I said,
yeah, I know. I mean, like that really don't have nothing to do with me, because like I know people are like all up in arms about the like Kojima situation and stuff like that. I mean, if we're being real, we don't know the whole story. We don't know how he contributed to whatever it was, because I mean, what we do know is that he's kind of like a sponge for money with his games, where he's just like, I want to make $100 million game that's going to sell 2 million copies, and they're like, no, though. So like on that end, like I can't completely like demonize them for that, even though like some of their business, or a lot of their business practices, I should say, are not the best. But again, I mean, it doesn't really have anything to do with me. And plus, like, just how they're structured, it's not like the same people that make the Yu-Gi-Oh! Decisions make the pachinko machine decisions, just like any other multi-billion-dollar corporation.
That's fair. You'd make a good ambassador, man. Let me kick this pitchfork like back under my bed. That's more than fair. One thing I did ask them recently, even though I know never want to hear anything back either. I would definitely love for them to bring like the trilogy to the Switch. I actually made a tweet about that. Bring the trilogy to a Switch, or I could take as like a digital download or something, and by some grace of God, maybe they could do like 5 somehow.
They could do 5.
That'd be nice.
I know a lot of people like, could it run on Switch? It's an Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 game. It can run on Switch.
I hate when people do that so much. I hate that, but I kind of get it. But I know that's why I was kind of hesitant to say that. I was like, I really would like. I know it can fit on there. You may have to make some concessions, kind of like The Witcher, but a little bit. But just like you said, it was on the 360. You can definitely do it.
I think that Xbox turned everybody into my first computer engineer, like computer engineers for dummies. You know, like once they said teraflops on the E3 stage, everybody became a computer engineer, and they're like, hey, well, this game won't run properly. It has too much ambient occlusion. And it's like, you don't know what you're talking about, dude. You just watch Digital Foundry. Shut up. So yeah, but back to Yu-Gi-Oh.
That's so mean and accurate. I love it. My first computer engineer.
Everybody just thinks that they're geniuses on the internet. Turns out, but so I like jumped straight. I completely skipped because how it is like it's basically like a boss rush situation where it's like go through all the iconic duels in all the anime, and I was like, I'm not doing the classic anime because the beginning of that is going to be boring because just all the decks suck and like that sort of thing. So I started out with GX, which is the next one, and the last one that I have any attachment to. So I was like, this is a perfect sweet spot. It's like it's not too like brain dead for me to like play and not be bored to death, and it's also not like too far down the rabbit hole for me to get lost and be like, X what? You know, like Xyz summons and link summons and all this stuff and pendulum summons and whatnot. I don't know nothing about that. So I'm going to like work my way in from GX outwards.
Let me ask you this. GX, I'm trying to remember. Is it the, I hate to say it, but is it Red Coat?
Yes.
So to speak?
Yeah, it's that one.
I can't.
Yeah,
is it Jaden?
Yeah.
Is it Jaden? Okay, dude, I'm like reaching like over a decade back in my memory. I was like, which one is this? Is this Red Yugi or is this Blue Yugi or is this Motorcycle?
That's 5Ds. And that's when I checked out. I was like, I can do duel in school. That makes sense. That like that much was like, okay, I can see this being an offshoot of the show. And then they brought in Motorcycle and I was like, all right, this doesn't make any sense to me anymore. I'm done.
The Academy Yugi, I'm giving them all sorts of names. The Academy Yugi, it was kind of dumb on retrospect, but it low key kind of slapped to me. Like I would gladly like watch it again. I'd be like,
honestly,
what is this nonsense I like
GX more than I liked a lot of the original one, and it veered in different directions a lot as far as like how much I liked it, because I liked when they were in the school more than anything. Like once they got into like, you know, like the mystical side of everything, I was less interested, because like, all right, you're just kind of trying to be like the original show, and it doesn't need to be that. So I have mixed feelings on Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean GX, but also they never finished it in America. It just got completely canned after season 3, I think.
You know, that makes a lot of sense because, I was into watching it. I would catch all the new episodes over here. And, it just, now that you mention it, it just kind of faded from memory. I didn't even think about it. You know, it's things that just kind of fade, like just fade away from your vision, and you don't even notice that it's gone. It's like, wait a minute, that was a thing. And I didn't even notice. I didn't even finish it.
So as far as like playing through it, it doesn't really feel like, I thought that I was going to start playing this and being like, how do I do things? Like, what's happening? I completely understand everything. I'm like, this elemental hero does this. I need to activate this at this time and that sort of thing. That's not going to last, because once I beat GX in the original Yu-Gi-Oh, I'm going to be confused, and I know it. But I'm enjoying not being confused while I'm in this situation.
I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. Feel free to enjoy it for me. It's legit on like my Amazon wish list, and I want it, but I'm probably not. You know what I would really? I'm just jumping around. You know, I would really like for them to bring back too, even though they probably won't. Pokemon trading card game.
Yeah, they had the Pokemon trading card game on like iOS and Android. I don't know if they will put it on Switch though.
Oh.
They might.
Oh, I don't want them on Poopy Mobile. I want them on my Switch, man. I love that game as a little kid. Like it was, I don't know if I would like enjoy it now, but I just remember like that game was so, it was weird how fun it was. Like with it, the ADD I had as a kid, I guess I still got it now. ADD as a kid, like the kid in me would be like, man, this is boring. I can't focus on this, but it was really compelling for some reason. I was so into like building up my deck and getting all the rare cards and stuff. And I really would love for them to bring it back. Don't do it at $60 though. Don't do me like that. Don't do it like a Dragon Ball Heroes nonsense.
They could just do it what Yu-Gi-Oh did. Yu-Gi-Oh's $40 on the eShop.
Yeah, see, that's what's up. 40 is what I can't even find fault with that really. Just don't microtransaction me, but
I think that's the main reason why it is 40, because the this is like a port, or yeah, it's a port from the it's on Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I don't know if it's on 360 and PlayStation 3. But on that version, I think it was like $10 to $20, and then you could buy the cards that you want, and well, not the cards that you want, but buy the decks and stuff in packs of like, oh, you like the first Yu-Gi-Oh? You can buy cards from that, $5 each, like that sort of thing.
It's a case of the
right.
Gotams.
But now it's like $40, and all the cards you can get them. You just unlock them through playing the game. You're good. I don't even know if there are microtransactions that you can buy optionally. I didn't see any, at least from the time that I've been playing this.
Oh, okay. So they aren't trying to do, because I have no idea, of course, because I hadn't played it. So they're not trying to do the whole, let's go ahead, it's easy now. Let's ratchet that difficulty by like 1,000. And man, like, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm going to go ahead and buy such and such. They're not doing that, are they?
Like that. There is some I just did this duel, and it's not like, again, it's not like in a microtransaction way. But there is this mechanic that they have where it's like story mode duels or whatever, and you can either make your own deck and play through the story like that, or you can just use the cards that they used in this scenario. So I've been trying to play through the whole thing like that, and I'm like I said, I'm on GX, so I'm like doing, and there's the flip side of the coin for both of them. So like you can finish a duel in like your Jaden versus Chas, who's like the spiky black-haired dude. And then once you beat him with Jaden, you can do the flip side and try to win as Chas. I did one of those duels against one of the bad guys later on, and his deck is garbage because I like destroyed him as Alexis was the duel, I think. And then I tried to do the duel again, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, why is he not playing anything? Like he just lost the whole duel with one face down card, and that's it. And it's because his deck is trash. He can't summon anything. So I was just like, okay, well, this is impossible. So that was the only duel that I did so far, and I'm like 25% of the way through the GX side of things. Yeah. I could not do it with his deck, and I just used the user deck for that one duel. And I was like, well, that ruined that streak, and I'm not even going to go back to try to get his story deck through with that duel because it's trash.
He's like those Pokemon trainers you'll see in the game, to where they've got 6 slots for Pokemon, but they'll just have like one.
Yeah, it's like if Pokemon was like, hey, we'll give you an extra incentive if you can beat your Pokemon with this fisherman's Pokemon, and all he has is Magikarp. Like, I'm like, nah, you're good. I'm not doing that. Even though that's the thing on YouTube. Friend of the show, MDB, you can check out his Pokemon challenges, where he's like, I'm going to beat the whole Pokemon game with Bidoof, and like that type of stuff. But I'm not doing it right now. Not unless it's for the content. You know what I mean?
Does it work well? Like,
those videos are doing phenomenal. He's never had videos do that well that consistently.
That's I don't know if that's like really. I'm glad for him. I respect the hustle. You know, there's a black coming. But that's I don't know how I feel about that. Like, what do you guys like
People
watching?
Like stuff
man?
Like that.
Like, I can imagine.
Like, can you do it? Is that possible? You know, like those videos that blow up that are like, can you beat Super Mario without jumping? Like that type of stuff. It's that level of curiosity.
Oh, see, you gave him more credit than I did. I was about to do the whole like watching a goldfish play like Pokemon Red or Blue or something. People were like, "All right, that's what I'm talking about." This is my kind of content.
It makes sense. It's just something that seems like hell to do. But to transition out of the playing games segment, let's start talking about the news for the week. There's, every year we go through these beats of like, it's January, when's the Nintendo Direct? It's April, where's the Nintendo Direct? Like there's always the specific months that are like the X month Direct. And now we're into the time frame of the year where everybody's like, well, obviously we're going to have a September Direct, to the point of that's what they're calling it. We're starting to see signs that that's going to happen soon because there's a whole lot of rumors and stuff that's getting posted that's leading to speculation. So we're going to talk about that because we're cursed to talk about Nintendo Directs that are rumored because this show is called Directly to You. But so let's look at the first piece of evidence that has people thinking like, oh yeah, we're going to have this Direct. There's a new wave of Nintendo Switch game SKUs that have been spotted on GameStop's internal systems. It's the last time they did this, it was like, I don't know, like 14 games, and I still don't know what all those games are. As far as like what those listings were in the first place. Maybe somebody in the comments knows what those games netted out to be, or whether, I don't even know if they're all out. Some of them might not be out yet. But in this case, it's just a list of games that are all saying available either 12, 31, 19, which is placeholder for it's going to come out sometime this year. We don't know exactly when. As far as like what the games are, I don't know. But one of them could possibly be another thing that it has everybody speculating. Nintendo tweeted a picture of Mario that's like unsettling as all get up. And he's sitting there on the beach with no shoes on. All his toes are like the same size. He has circular toenails. And he's eating watermelon. And
I mean, my man stays manicured.
And in the tweet, Nintendo says, even Mario needs a little #summer vacation. No matter where your summer odyssey took you, we hope it was filled with sunshine. And that last word has everybody like, oh, they said sunshine? That means we're getting a Sunshine remake or remaster or sequel. It's happening. That's why we're having a September Direct. And I don't know what to think about that.
Well, I mean, I even chimed in on that too. I even screamed out, dude, I want another Sunshine so bad. I mean, it'd be interesting if they did like an Odyssey Sunshine as that would allude to, but I would absolutely like Sunshine. Like, I want to say it's overall positively like reviewed. Compared to other games, it's almost a masterpiece. But compared to like Mario games in and of itself, people like I don't really. Yeah, I like it, but not as not like right. Odyssey or 64 or Galaxy or something. But I still remember like the first I got Sunshine like on Christmas Day, and I played it all night. Like I love that game. Now even when Shadow Mario takes away Flood, like the special levels, like those levels are genuinely enraging. But
especially the Pachinko one because it's terrible.
Whoo, and I still have like I feel like I have like internal bleeding like as I remember, because it was just crazy, and I'm this dumb little kid with like very like weak motor skills trying to get through this. And even with that, man, the summer theme for it was just it was so pleasant. I absolutely love it. I want to say that's going to happen. I mean, because of course you've already got the whole Breath of the Wild 2, that being announced already. So given the time frame that would come out versus like another Mario game to come out, because they both came out in 2017, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd say it's not long overdue, but I'd say it would be right on time to. I don't know if I would announce it it's possible. I don't know if I would announce it at a September Direct, but either between that Direct and like a January Direct, or even March, I feel like they're going to announce like another Mario.
To the point with Directs where they'll just announce anything, because like before it was like, oh, this is way too big a deal for a Nintendo Direct. They're definitely doing this at E3, but at this point they'll be like, Mario Odyssey exists, and that'll be in a Nintendo Direct, or a brand new Pokemon game, Nintendo Direct. Like there's no boundaries for Nintendo Directs at this point. But I think that if they're going to do a new Mario game, I can't see them doing both. I can't see them doing a Sunshine port and also Mario Odyssey 2 or what have you. And I think that there's like two possibilities of like what would happen with this, because Nintendo does do that whole thing where it's like, we teased this a decade ago and you didn't even know, but at the same time they do a lot of those like what could be seen as teases if you got your tinfoil hat on and you're like, well, obviously the dots connect, they blink 3 times, that means Half-Life 3 is coming out. It's like those type of moments, and it just turns out to be nothing. They could be like, Al Delfino was in Odyssey and you didn't even know, but everybody did know. So it's like, I think that it would. I would find it hilarious if it's like, oh, they figured it out and we wanted that to be a gotcha moment, so we're canceling Odyssey. I mean, we're canceling Sunshine. We're not doing it anymore.
It's possible. Like I like, for instance, when I want to say that they wouldn't do them both in the same time, but all right, I'll just say, let's give it a percentage. The way that I'd like to treat things, everything in life, it's a percentage chance for whatever to happen. So when you bring that up, it makes me immediately think of Mario Brothers Deluxe and then Mario Maker coming out like months after that. And it's like, what's the point of Deluxe at this point? Like, why do you even, if you have Mario Maker 2, why do you even need this game? And at $60 at that. So as far as that actually happening, I wouldn't say it's like a slim chance as many people would think. I don't think it's likely, but I wouldn't completely rule it out.
As far as your point on what's the point of having Deluxe and Mario Maker released in the same year, I think it's because they're for different people, ultimately. The Deluxe games sell really well to people that don't even know Mario Maker exists. It's the people that walk into the store and are like, oh yeah, give me the new Mario. Give me Mario Kart, give me Smash Brothers, give me the new Mario, give me Grand Theft Auto, give me Call of Duty. You know, like the people that are like not clued in at all. They just know the biggest games of the biggest games. At the end of the day, the 2D Mario games, like just the straight up like 2D Mario platformers, they sell significantly better than any other Mario game. Like by far, like by 2 times plus. So for them to have a Mario 2D game that they didn't really have to put that much work in and is already like at like 5 million units, it just, like that's why they do that. It's not really to sell to us who's going to be more into the deeper Mario Maker. I think the problem with this though, as far as like them having like those be for those 2 slots as it were in their strategy, I don't think Sunshine appeals to that same thing. I think if anything, Sunshine is even more so a laser focused, like for the hardcores sort of release than Mario 2D game would have been, and it's not a big enough deal for the hardcore fan base to get that to Mario Odyssey levels. I think the only thing that they could do if they were to do 2 games that are Mario games in one year would be something like Mario 2D game, and then also do a Mario like 64 sequel, or you know, like that level of game of like, this is like the big Mario platform and adventure sandbox game, and here's the 2D game that's for everybody.
Yeah, I do. I legit, I think I see what you mean. I'm trying to piece it together though, because I don't know if I would make Mario Maker like your hardcore, you know? Would you really do that?
100%. Because most people hear the word Mario Maker and they're like, I don't want to make a Mario game. But the hardcore fans know that it's not just about making, it's about playing the levels that other hardcore fans are making. Casual fans don't even think about it like that. They're like, oh, this is Mario Maker. This means that's not for me.
Okay. I guess I never pieced it together like that. Like or at least around me, it's been like I guess you could, as you could say, casuals, that actually were just, and they're not hardcore at all. They play like, you know, no offense to anybody that plays them, but like the dumb mobile games or whatever, like this, like Save Me from the Shark with this paper boat, like just the dumbest of mobile games, but they're legit like into Mario Maker. But as far as the Maker part, I think when I think casual, I think they're gonna focus in like, holy crap, it's Mario. I know that. I played that. My kids play that. Or I try to get them to play it.
I think it's just like
I think I kind of see what
you mean. The same way
that
like you mentioned, where it's like pretty much every Mario game is like every Mario game is universally considered at least good. I think it's the same thing that Mario Maker, like in the grand scheme of things, a lot of casual fans are going to see that and buy it because it's Mario, but not as many casual fans as would buy a 2D Mario game or as would buy a sandbox 3D Mario game.
That I agree with like 100%. Like I've seen the sales numbers and stuff myself, and while it's at least they are playing a Mario game, but I know exactly what you mean by that. Like I definitely would like for Odyssey and Galaxy for those to have sold like a lot more. Like I love the creativity in them. Well, I mean you don't need to gush about it. Everybody already knows. It's amazing. But yeah, I see what you mean. As far as going back to that whole teaser, it's likely. I feel like it's not like it's needed, like the way it was needed when the Switch first came out. But just spacing out releases, letting your third parties get their releases in and all that good stuff. I'd say it'd be on track to announce it. I'd be more surprised if they announce it in September, because I mean I'm in that club too, to where I think there's gonna be a direct in September. I mean, why not? It doesn't seem like it. It kind of seems like the direct happened like yesterday, even though yesterday was E3. But I feel like it's a.
We're bound to have another Nintendo Direct, because they do usually have the Nintendo Direct that's like, here's like a couple of like big third party surprises, like the Dooms, like that. Like, here's Doom Eternal. You didn't know that existed, but it's coming out at the end of the year. Like that, or the original Doom 2016. They did that with specifically. So like that's usually when that happens, and then they slot in like those smaller games, and then they say, okay, here's the first 2 months of 2020. We do usually have one of those, and then the January Direct fleshes out the year more, or February, or whenever they end up doing it. And that's what I think is where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like bet the bank on it being September specifically, because everybody gets their heart and mind set on it being like to the point where they're like calling it the September Direct, and then it happens in November or October or whatever. Like they always do these little gotcha moments of like, oh, you thought it was a January Direct? We're doing it in February, and then we're doing another one in March. What's up?
Yeah, Nintendo's definitely got a Nintendo. That's the one. Like, I try to base all my logic on thinking what they're gonna do based off of how I see like how they're how financial projections go, how you want to do spacing out for different game releases and all that good stuff. But Nintendo, it's such a strange beast. I can try to predict some of the stuff and do okay, but it's so. Is zany the word that I want to go with?
Yeah, I mean that's a good word, but it's also genius, because like it keeps people on their toes. It's not as exciting if you know what they're going to do, when they're going to do it, how they're going to do it, where they're going to do it. If you're always at this point in time where it's like, are they going to do a direct? When's the direct? How long is the direct? What are they going to talk about? That's way more exciting than like, well, for this quarter they're going to do X, Y, and Z.
You legit brought it like full circle. You know that, right? That one where they asked them about the Switch Lite at that right. investors briefing or whatever, where it was like, we don't want to spoil the surprise. Yeah. Like you brought it all
that's
full
what it
circle.
Is. I think that I think stuff like that is harder, as far as like, it was kind of weird that they weren't just like, yeah, we're doing Switch Lite at that point, because everybody knew, and I don't think that was a surprise. It's harder to keep that sort of thing secret. Unless it's a completely new console generation, because there's rumors all over the place, so it's easy to fly under the radar with a legit thing, and then that end up being like something that was on 4chan, and everybody was like, that sounds stupid, that will never happen. And then you see ARMS announced at the Switch presentation in 2017, that sort of thing. But with something like Switch Lite, where there's going to be one or two rumors that are all similar to the thing that's real, that the real thing just becomes like foregone conclusion. So that couldn't have really been a surprise. The only thing that was really surprising about it is that it was that soon after, when they announced it, that it's coming out. They're like, oh, it's coming out in a month and a half or whatever. That was surprising, but the existence of the Switch Lite wasn't really surprising.
you probably, because this would be something completely off the cuff, and I don't even think a gaming historian would even know this, but have they ever announced any Mario games like in the fall, like mainline Mario games?
Technically, they announced Mario Odyssey in the fall. Technically, where it's like they won't straight up say like this is Mario Odyssey. Here's the game, but we got this Switch reveal trailer thing in the fall, and that had Mario Odyssey in it.
Wait, that's right. That whole with the desire, like that whole that I still remember that trailer. Okay, I didn't even think about that. Because when I think about Odyssey, like the whole announcement thing, I think of oh my god, is it Koizumi?
Koizumi.
What was his name? Okay, no, not him.
Are you talking about
who was the previous CEO?
Kimishima,
the guy that looks like the guy that looks like he does like the taxes for the Yakuza or something. I just look at him, just picture him without a suit. Can you not picture like Yakuza tattoos like all? He just looks. I mean, he looks cool to me. No, all right, that's fine. I'll pull back now. But so with that being said, I can kind of see. I'll put it this way. I see it like a 40-60. 40 and that it's probably not going to happen in the fall. But at the same time, it's not. You can't completely rule it out. Like I feel like there's going to be another Mario. I feel like it's going to be another Mario. Maybe like late next year. Definitely, if anything, definitely by the holiday season.
It
like the holiday season's given for it.
If they did, like, if 2020 just ended up being 2017, where they're like, here's Mario and Zelda same year. That would be nuts.
Oh.
Like, because it's like they don't need to do that again. They don't have to do that for the rest of this console generation. But if they do it, that's crazy.
Yeah, And you're completely right on that. That would legit be. It's literally a 1-2 punch. I would love it. But I'm just gonna go with you on that. I'm not gonna add anything extra to it. That would be phenomenal. I would absolutely love it, and I'm so ready for Breath of the Wild 2. I want that.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if Zelda wasn't until 2021, and then the new Mario was in 2020.
Yeah, and it's fascinating how they're able to put out, like, Mario doesn't seem like it takes much at all to not completely much at all, but in comparison to Zelda, to actually put it out. I think it's a beautiful property to have, not just because how prolific it is, but it seems like it's easily deployable if that makes sense. Like if I need this heavy hitter at this point in the year for this financial forecast or whatever the case may be, or for this placement. Like you can all right, just deploy a Mario here. But Zelda, you kind of gotta
what the game is. I think Mario as a property, like as a brand, is easily deployable because you can fit them anywhere. So you can be like, we need a Mario game. I don't know if we can do a sandbox Mario game this year, but let's at least do Mario Golf. I think he's like really flexible in that way, but I don't think that they can easily turn out a Mario Odyssey. Just because, like, whereas Zelda takes a long time because you got to craft the world and then the story and then the characters and then all that stuff. Mario takes a long time because it's like you got to figure out what's the mechanic that we're going to use here and how are they all going to fit together and what's the design around, like what's the world going to look like? How is this going to be interesting and not feel like the last Mario game? So I think that where Zelda takes a long time to craft narratively and what the world is and like more superficial things, Mario takes longer to craft mechanically. And I think that with Breath of the Wild 2, I should say specifically, it's going to be a faster game to do than like a regular Zelda game because they already have a lot of that world and the tone and even the mechanics of the game figured out. It's just a thing of like, okay, how do we up what we did last time?
That's true. Technically, I think, what I would do for a September Direct that I'm with, like I said, I'm with everybody else. I think, why would it not happen? They should do Mario Strikers for that one. A new Mario Strikers.
I'm mad that they didn't do Mario Strikers, last year with the World Cup. I was like, what? Like, why did
I am kind of offended by that.
What is wrong with y'all? Like, that would have been perfect.
I'm offended by that too. Like that should have been a thing. But one thing they've taught me, like with the whole, hey, it's the such and such anniversary for Mother, and then they never do anything. So I'm kind of not surprised anymore.
They just do it with the properties that they give a crap about. They're like, oh, it's Metroid's anniversary. I don't care. And they're like, oh, it's Mario's anniversary. You know we're putting out 37 games this month.
I'm sorry. All right, that's fair. That sucks, but that's fair.
But yeah, I think that's where we're going to net out on the September direct. I think we'll definitely get one in the fall at some point. I don't know for sure if it's going to be September. If it is, cool. If it's not, cool. I don't really care. I just know that we're going to get another direct at some point in time. I'm not in the business of being like, it's for sure September, because then I'm going to be in the same group of all the YouTubers that look real dumb when they had to change all their YouTube titles where it's like the September direct is going to be the best one ever, like that sort of thing. I'm not.
Well, at least you got some self-respect on that, because a lot of them realize that people have very short attention spans, so they can quietly change it, and then everybody will move on with their lives. So hey, you were wrong, but nobody remembers. What's for dinner? Like people,
like, who's gonna call me on so quick? But I don't know. What I don't know, though, is what the heck Xbox has planned for the future with Nintendo, because they're being real cagey about it, and I don't like it, because I think that Microsoft, they had a good thing going, and now they're being little salty Susans. I don't think that's a good way to describe it, because they're not salty, but they're being, they're like the typical industry thing of like, we have no plans to do, etc., etc., and everybody's like already taking these these statements and running with it, because it's easy to be like, Microsoft might not do X, Y, and Z, when realistically that statement doesn't really mean anything, because of course they're not going to be like, of course we're doing more exclusives, because then the headline's going to be Microsoft confirms more exclusives for Nintendo Switch. Like, that's the type of leading question that, like, either way you're getting a headline out of them.
Man, you got that Sharingan showing, man. At the risk of showing my nerdum, it's really easy to see. Like, I almost don't even need to add anything on that. That's 100% like just corporate speak. It's a mixture. To me, it's like a mixture of corporate speak and versus. Because I can't remember the two separate people that made the, hey, we're gonna, it would be nice if we could do it on it, and then on the other side, it's we have no plans of doing it. So I don't quit. Like, it's money in it. If it's a property that that you don't, as far as the I'm kind of torn, because the way that both of those statements allude to, if you combine them together, I have a feeling like you wouldn't put your heavy hitters on there like a Gears of War 5 or like the next Halo game, but I could see like through Game Pass, because that whole thing about Game Pass coming to Switch possibly.
That's the other thing that they said that makes this confusing, because like in the same breath that they're like, we don't know if we're going to expand our portfolio on other consoles, then they're like, but we want Games Pass on everything. And it's like, what does that entail then? On PlayStation, it's going to be like, all right, pay us $10 a month or whatever to play Minecraft, and that's it. And then on Switch, it's like, pay us $10 a month to play Cuphead, Minecraft, and now Ori in the Blind Forest. And Super Lucky Tale? But I don't know if they own the rights to that.
That's a good question. I don't know. I legit looked at Lucky's Tale like the other day. I have no idea, actually. As far as that, I'm so glad they didn't do that, by the way. Like, I want to own Cuphead outright. I love that game. I'm waiting for the physical. I know they wouldn't answer, but I just couldn't help but ask, like, when is the physical coming out? I don't want this digital. I want to feel it in my hands. I want this, whatever texture that is, that if you lick it, it destroys your tongue. I want that in my hands. But I really feel like with the whole Game Pass thing, I don't know. Of course, we don't know how they are with the, their negotiations with Nintendo on doing something like this. Because clearly, the fact that you've gotten Banjo in Smash, you've gotten Cuphead, you've gotten Ori, you're getting all this Xbox love. This couldn't have been like the only stuff that they were talking about, because that'd be very narrow-minded or narrow in scope.
A Banjo-Kazooie game on Nintendo Switch, they are stupid. Just
I know, man.
point blank period. They are real dumb. Like, because I mean, it like flies in the face of a lot of things that they've been doing this generation. Because Phil Spencer, far from that, he is a very shrewd man, as we can see. But if they just do not use that opportunity of having Banjo in Smash, that is going to sell units. It's going to sell this game. Like, that single-handedly is going to be the thing that gets the majority of people that buy a brand new Banjo-Kazooie game excited for a Banjo-Kazooie game. In the same way that it happens with Fire Emblem and Mother and, like, all the other franchises that Americans saw on their TV screen, and they're like, what the heck is this? And then they're like, oh, you're the thing from Smash Brothers. I'll play that.
Right. Like, that's, I mean, again, that's 100%. Like, I don't want to, I don't want to stroke an ego or anything, but it is what it is. What you're saying is pretty accurate. And yeah, you know, everybody's biker dad uncle Phil Spencer, he's pretty shrewd, man. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, he's very shrewd. And yeah, that would be really, because not only, just look at the metrics for it. Look at the general response, like just overall number of views, tweets, and like just looking at pure analytics. People give a crap about this character. And yeah, just like you said, people that aren't familiar with Banjo, they play the game, they see how much, you know, how cool he is, how fun he is to play. Because it's the same thing that worked for Fire Emblem. Like, Fire Emblem, like, nobody knew what Fire Emblem was back in the day. And now,
I legit thought that they were like some Zelda characters that I never heard of when I first used them in Melee. I was like, are they? Because especially, I think the main thing that made me think that is that when you unlock them, you play against them on a Zelda stage. So I was like, are these Zelda characters or something? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I thought they were straight up anime characters. Like, I was like, anime can be in Smash? Like, okay. So, so yeah, I mean, that's like, everybody makes the case for the whole, you know, Smash Brothers is good for marketing, but hey, it is what it is. It legit does that.
Like, that's like irrefutable at this point. Like, there's no debating that Smash Brothers sells games.
Boy, it's the best cross-pollinating game ever. Forever. I miss Outcast. Anyways, yeah, so I need it so bad. Like, if you want to, you can be lazy. Just do a remaster of it.
No,
like,
but like,
I don't want that. I want a new one.
Like, I mean, if you're gonna do a remake, do a Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, except with a game that's good. You know?
Yeah, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. I meant a remake. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's
they already
literally
have a remaster on 360, and if they just say, "Hey, just drop the 360 remaster onto the Switch," I'm going to be upset.
I ain't gonna lie, I'd be kind of pissed too. Like, man, you could have put like a little extra effort, man. Like, Jesus. But yeah, I would that makes so much sense. Just do it. Revive the property. I mean, all you've got really, you know, you've got Halo, you got Gears of War. I mean, or matter of fact, let me just narrow that. I'm not even going to give the benefit of a doubt. That's, for the casual audience, that's all that Xbox Forza really has. Like, Forza. You gonna bring out that car on the stage again? Oh, it's a Lego car this time. Woo! Gotta get it.
Saying the casuals like Forza, man.
yeah. They. Oh man, why you take the wind out of my sails? Like, I can't. I tried getting on Forza like so many times because I had like my uncle. He likes like race car games and stuff like that. I can't. I guess with me, if it's anything that you can do essentially in real life other than drive a really expensive car, I can't justify like dropping 60 for it or whatever the case may be. I need something that I can't just straight up do in real life, like jump on a turtle's head. Like, I mean, I guess you can, but you shouldn't. But anyway, that's how I am with games. So yeah, all right, it is what it is, and you're right, they do. Just like a lot of people like FIFA, I like soccer, but you know, I'll play it. But it is what it is. People do like it, so they have that. But it's just that lineup needs to be. I mean, you already know that lineup needs to be diversified, like so much more than what it is. There's nothing really there in the Xbox Playhouse. Like, it's just, you kind of just like IPs just kind of just pass through. I think they know that because all the studios that they bought. I mean, you don't buy all those studios for no reason just to make games for other people, but I feel like they legit know that. But yeah, it's like Banjo, it's such an easy thing to do. Like, why would you not? And considering the fact you see how they maybe they'll see how, I don't know, maybe they'll gauge how downloads go for it. and I guess decide what they'll do if they haven't already decided they're going to do anything else.
I could legit see them pulling like a preemptively. I'm going to say rest in peace. Like Marvel plus Sony situation, like how they handled Spider-Man, where it's like, all right, like if you want a Banjo game, then you guys develop it or whatever, and like get this percentage and blah blah. If they do it like that, like I could see Nintendo being like, all right, we're gonna put an EPD team on developing Banjo, and then we'll put it on the Xbox and we'll put it on Switch, and then call it a day there.
Oh, I feel like I was punched in the stomach when you said that. Like, Jesus, man. Oh, that would be so... Because it would be so smart. It's so scummy, but so smart.
Banjo 4E, and then it's going to come out on Switch and Xbox, and then it's going to be the best-selling Banjo game, and then they're going to say, hey, we're not doing it ever again. You're never going to get another Banjo game because we couldn't negotiate the terms. Just to complete the metaphor.
Jesus, man. Oh, that hurt. I think it hurts more because I could see, like, I kind of like Phil. He's kind of cool. I can. Oh, let me just stop. I can kind of see that. I can see that being a thing. But please don't follow Marvel and don't follow Sony suit.
They're going to do it.
I mean,
it just makes sense.
I mean, it
who
legit
else
does
gets
from a shrewd
like Nintendo.
Exactly, and like, yeah. I'm done fighting it. Yeah.
So you know what? Start up the hashtag already to get Banjo back on Switch or swap Nintendo swap on the next Nintendo platform when they cancel the deal. Get your hashtags ready, you know, because we're gonna have to campaign to get it back. But you don't got to campaign with Capcom because they're having a sale on their games on all the Nintendo platforms on 3DS and Wii U. Yes, even those ones. So if you so happen to still actively play that, there's some games on there, you know? There's like 3 whole games that are on sale on Wii U. 3 of them. It's ridiculous.
Hey, I like the
I'm
Wii.
not saying I dislike it. I'm just saying, like, why though? Like, why? Who's still playing it?
I feel vulnerable. That's why I said that. Yeah, I do. I still, it's the little system next to it, man. So more power to them. As far as Capcom and their sales, if you want me to be honest about that, I feel like the way that they do it is they overcharge, and whenever it's on sale, I feel like it's the price that it should have been. Okay, good. I'm glad it's not just me, because I would be like, look at this native guy.
I feel like that with Mega Man 11. Mega Man 11 is $20. Will I buy it for $20? Probably not, because I want Mega Man X9 instead. And I'm just going to be playing that and being like, hey, why is this not Mega Man X9? Even at $20.
Yeah. And then you got... And what's that? Isn't Devil May Cry? Isn't that like...
Yeah, Devil May Cry was $20. Now it's $15. I'm just going to read the notable ones. I'm not listing off all of them. But the Mega Man Legacy Collections you can get for $12 each. Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate you can get for $25. Okami you can get for $14. The Ace Attorney Trilogy on Switch you can get for $20.
That's the
Resident Evil games.
I'm
now
down
finally you can get them for $20, or the newer ones that everybody's like, why are they $10 more than? Now they're not. You know, Resident Evil Revelations, they were already pretty cheap as far as like, because they were already $20 like they should have been. But now $14 each.
Agreed. Like, yeah, that's how I feel about the gist of it. If you guys haven't gotten Okami, I mean, I know I'm probably a nobody, like, who is this guy? But get Okami. Like, I'm pretty sure AJ's probably told you that at some point.
We had this conversation, and I wasn't the one telling people to get it because I never played it. But everybody's like, it's like Twilight Princess, and once I heard that, I was like, I don't want it.
Well, Twilight. Yeah, that's. I got a bias for Twilight Princess because God, I love me some Midna so much. But anyways, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, can you really blame me? Anyway, but I wouldn't say it's like Twilight Princess. It's legit good. Like, if you haven't gotten
are you admitting that Twilight Princess is it legit good?
No, Twilight Princess.
I'm just saying you
like,
paint
here's the
yourself in
thing,
the corner because you're like, it's not like Twilight Princess. This one's a good game.
Well, yeah, I guess I did. All right, I'll put it this way, because I mean, I'm not the one to be like, haha, every Zelda game is a masterpiece.
Right.
I'm not gonna do that. I was in the camp with because when I was little, I got into Zelda early. Because I got into it from my cousin, because he showed me Zelda through Link to the Past. When they did I'm surprised they even remember this, but when they did that demo, I forgot what convention that was, where they showed like Link and Ganondorf fighting.
That was at
and then they busted out
Space
with
World.
and then they busted out with Wind Waker. I was disappointed with Wind Waker first. Now I love Wind
you're
Waker.
one of those. You're one of those.
Game so much. I mean, I was like, I was a dumb kitty, man. I mean, that's just it comes with the territory. Like, you think really stupid things as a kid. But anyways, yeah, I was like that as a little kitty. I was like, man, what is this cartoon mess? But
I'm a child. I don't want cartoons.
Yeah, that stupid crap. I wish I could slap myself in the back of the head. But anyways, yeah, I was like that. And then they had the whole, I don't know what caused them to go the Twilight Princess route versus the Wind Waker route. I don't know if it was a stopgap for them to produce this first and then do Twilight Princess, like develop that. Like, I have no idea.
Twilight Princess was just reactionary.
But yeah,
it was like everybody was like, we hate this, and they're like, fine, we'll give you this stupid realistic one, and then they made that and it sucked. You know what I mean?
So it was reactionary. I didn't know that. Like, I tried to do benefit of a doubt. I didn't know that. But yeah, I was kind of in that camp too. Honestly, looking back at it, because I got pretty far in it. I never actually beat Twilight. I got really far in, but I kind of got
to the point where you're like, hey, playing as this wolf isn't great. You know, it's not too.
It's
fun.
not. It's really. I love trying things that are different. But of course, like, realistically speaking, it doesn't always work out. As romantic as being innovative and trying different things is, and let me be clear on this, you definitely should. Like, just in life in general, you should, at the risk of sounding like your parents, like, you should get out there and do something different. Like, at the risk of being like that, you really should. Like, life, God, it sounds like an after school special. Life is for living. So you definitely, and even as a business too, you've got to innovate. You got to do different things. You got to try
new things. Unless it's Twilight Princess, unless it's Okami. That's the thesis statement. Okami's on sale. Buy it now.
Please do. Like, please do. It's good. It may be the same.
Don't buy Mega Man 11 though, because it's not Mega Man X9. But
you gotta vote with your wallet.
Should buy, even though I'm never going to play this, is NBA 2K, because that developer knows what they're doing with the Switch, So, in an interview with USgamer, NBA 2K senior producer Rick, some last name I don't know how to say, spoke about supporting Switch. He told the site that the team is always looking to improve on the console and remains committed to the platform. The name I don't know how to say further added, the flexibility can't be matched with that console. So, there that is. Unlike the EAs of the world, where they're just like, this game won't work on there, it's too underpowered, feeding into the narrative, knowing that if they say that to fans that hear the teraflop talk from Microsoft, they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Coming from this dev being like, nah, that's not how it works. You gotta, adjust it to the platform and develop it for what the platform's capable of, but it's possible if you want to do it, and they want to do it, and they're doing it right.
Yeah, so in essence, you have to actually, I don't know, you have to give a crap to actually be able to put it on there. Like, I like how they, say, going on what you said, I do like the whole EA thing to where they took a play out of the THQ Nordic playbook, like Battle Chasers. I'm disappointed with the power. I would like for there to be more power, but we gotta work with what we got. Like, come on, if you actually like, I like THQ, but if you actually give a crap enough, you can make it happen. Technically, from a technical standpoint, you can port almost anything. Like, of course you'll have to make concessions here and there depending on what it is, but you can do that, and you can still make it fun, and you can still make it quality even with those concessions. You just have to want to do it. Like if you,
it's just,
I mean, I know it's
boils
business.
down to the fact that like we're not playing games that are like night and day from what we were playing last generation, and Switch is more powerful than the last generation was. So it stands to reason that if Switch is within the margin of error of the last generation, being within the two, you know, it should be able to run a game that still runs in the same way, like still plays like the games that played this in that way in the last generation. They just look shinier, you know, like they just have more reflections and people look more wet, you know, like it's the only difference. Make them look dry and put it on Switch.
And I want to take a crack at his name. Is it Bos? I think it's Bosnich.
I don't know. No, because the S is after the N. So Boenisch.
I'm sorry. I dragged you right back into the
That's
mud.
why I was like, I completely, you know, I just resigned to the fact that I don't know how to say this. And this is a new thing because usually I like go and I like search for the name and like hear that how it's pronounced on Google and like all that stuff. But I made this video that was already taking me days to make. And a lot of this video is pronouncing foreign names that I never heard before that are like German and like, you know, like that, like Scandinavian and whatnot. And I'm like, I don't know how to say that. So I'm just going to let you know, and I'm going to show you the name. So if you want to learn the developer, learn about the developer, there it is. But I don't know how to say that.
You know, you could, I guess you could have probably tried to put it in like a text-to-speech generator, but then the text-to-speech generator is like,
it's not going to say it right either unless you change your text-to-speech to that language, and it's just a whole thing. So I'm just being upfront and honest about the fact that I don't speak that language, so I don't know how to say that name.
What if, like, on the off chance, like, this Rick guy just so happens to know about your podcast?
Then let me know. Then let me know how to say your name. If you're listening to the podcast, let me know. You know.
He like, get off my name, man. Get on with it.
So there's that. You know. Hopefully that transfers over to the rest of Take-Two's studios, and they put Grand Theft Auto 5 on Switch because that would make sense for them.
That would have made sense. Like, God, like what's taking so long? You like they dipped the toe in with LA Noire, and like you saw it did fairly well. Like, where's the rest of it? It doesn't
make sense because at this point, like, a lot of people would think that it's like, oh, like that would help the Switch a lot. No, it would help Grand Theft Auto a lot because that's one of those games that when you buy a console, you're going to buy that game. So that's just going to be another 10 million units of that game that's going to push it over Minecraft, you know? So put it on more platforms.
Exactly. And, you know, to those that whole, man, they don't even need the Switch. Like, you know, that kind of person.
Money's like, more money.
Who doesn't? Yeah, who doesn't need like more money? Like, oh my God, another 7 million. Like I don't.
We don't need this. Well, I guess extra $500 million. Who needs that?
Well, I could hit you with that devil's advocate. What was that? The guy that came out with the Flappy Bird game? He was making like what $50K a day. He was like, man. Nah, I can't do it anymore.
No, that was damage control. He was getting slammed with copyright stuff because he pulled assets and wanted to be like, okay, what's something I can say to pull this game and not make me look like a jerk to the public.
Soldier Boy said, hey man, don't knock it till you try it.
Oh my God.
But anyways, I'm with you on that. Like, I looked at what he said too. I'm liking what I'm hearing from him. I'm not like the biggest, like, if somebody has something like 2K, I'll play it if it's there, but it's not something I'm going to actively seek out. Cause again, if it's something that if I can go outside and go hoop myself, like I don't need any VR setup or anything to do so, then I'm going to do that. But when some people say stuff like that, like, you know, the flexibility can't be matched, like they speak positive things about, you know, then I'm all for it. If you're heading in the right direction and you're passionate about doing this, then hey, like I'm more people, like you said, more people need to follow suit and listen to that. They're probably not, but it would be very good for everybody, you know, if they did something like that.
As far as like 2K goes, I will never play this game. just because it's not. I'm just not into sports. So I almost bought the last one just because it was $3 on the eShop. Like I literally was like, hey, it's $3. Maybe one day for whatever reason I'll be like, I want to play this. But I just, you know what? My smarter side prevailed and was like, you're never going to touch this game, and that would be a waste of money. You can like buy a sandwich with that $3. So I did
that immersive sandwich.
And also, maybe you can buy a sandwich if you're going to PAX West. But while you're there, you could go to Nintendo's booth because they're doing some cool stuff. They're bringing games, the newest games, including Luigi's Mansion 3 that I almost called Mario's Mansion 3, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, Dragon Quest 11 Echoes of an Elusive Age, which we'll get to, Definitive Edition, BT dubs, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. They're also doing a panel and signing opportunities featuring the developers from the upcoming game Dragon Quest 11, that long title I'm not saying again, which features Hero, the latest addition to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass. I don't know why they added that, as if like nobody ever heard of Dragon Quest 11 before Smash Brothers. But I mean, I guess there's a contingency of people that announcement worked for. But yeah. And then the Pokemon thing, they're doing this Pokemon Center tour, and PAX West is one of the stops that they're doing, and you can like learn about Pokemon Sword and Shield. I don't know how much of that stuff is going to be new information. It might just be like for the casuals to being like, and this is Grookey, and he's a grass type, you know, like that sort of thing. Or if we're going to learn some new stuff, and they're going to be like, here's Grookey's third of all form. He learns this attack at this level. Now that'll be some stuff. Also, they're doing a scavenger hunt for Link's Awakening with some legendary pins as the prize. And then they're doing the Warp Pass pipe from E3 where you can like book your demos with the games that they're bringing.
Okay. I've always wanted to go to like one of these, like one of my bucket list things to do. Not to say this is amazing, like going to see the Wiz or something, thing that you got to do, but I've always wanted to go to PAX because one of my friends talked about going to PAX like a while back, and he went. He seemed to have a good time. Like I've legit always wanted to go, but I've never gotten a chance to. You know, it's funny you almost called it Mario Mansion. Mario's looking at Luigi like, don't forget who the headliner is. Do you remember that? Was it not to jump off track, but was it, which game was that where Mario came out, slapped Luigi? Yeah, like,
that was
dude,
like
are you kidding me?
Like
they put this in the game.
Like one of the like spin-offs, like one of the sports games or something. I don't remember which one.
And they put, and that's in the game. And somebody painstakingly said Mario's gonna be an absolute jerk to his brother. Like somebody had to take his foot and program that, and program the look of disbelief on Luigi's face as, my brother, I looked up to you, and this is how you do me. Like, I don't know why I gave him like a Russian accent, but Jesus, man. Like, but anyways, I thought that was funny. But yeah, I've always legit wanted to go to the PAX. I don't think they'll offer. If they do, it'll probably be something small. It's PAX. It's not, of course, it's not like Tokyo Game Show or E3
they
or
have
anything.
Some stuff at PAX. I usually I've been going to PAX East for the past 2 years. I'm definitely going to go this year or next year. The last, like, 2019's PAX, that's been post me like having a relationship with Nintendo, so I got to like do some stuff that I wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And if I was going to PAX West, I would do that there. I don't know about the rest of the PAX, like PAX South, I don't think they usually go to in any real capacity.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh, but why does PAX South sound dirty?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, it makes me think of like a well, never mind, it doesn't matter. I just thought of something like really grimy, like, ooh, PAX. I guess I was thinking of like Southwest Airlines, but anyway, I'm throwing too much shade unnecessarily. You can go ahead and keep going. I've always like I said, I've always wanted to go. I am kind of jealous of you being able to go. It seems like it would be like legit fun, like it really does. As far as them adding new stuff, like I meant to say, I could see them. I don't just see it being like a big, like a whole extra thing, but just some tidbits here and there. I don't think there'd be anything mind blowing there. I think that's my final say on
they'll
PAX.
probably do like a couple, like, because with they usually do like smaller things at PAX where it's like we might get an announcement or two right before PAX or around PAX, because that's when they're like, hey, you can try this out, like this new announcement or whatever. Like maybe we'll learn about the new evolutions and you get to use those evolutions then, which I doubt because PAX West is pretty close. It's like next week, I think, or even this weekend. I think it's next week though. So I don't think it's going to be anything huge like that, but we might get some type of like news tidbits and stuff like that.
Did you say you'd be going to West, or
PAX
was
East.
it? Okay, and then that one's because it's closer to home.
I just got to get on the train and I'm there.
I legit, maybe I'll check out, where is PAX South like in
it's
Texas or something?
San Antonio, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I really want to go to those. Or at least I want to go to West East. How is East
I like
treated
East a lot.
you?
East is dope. I would say that if you're going to go to any of them, I think, especially as a Nintendo fan, I would go to either East or West. West is closer to Nintendo, so I would assume that they try to do better stuff there. But just in my experience, it hasn't really been that much different. It really depends on like what the release schedule is like, you know? Like if the front part of the year is packed, then it makes more sense to go to PAX. If the end half of the year looks more like with the games that you want to play, go to West. I don't know if they bring anything to South.
Oh, I guess because I've been down the South too long. I don't know. That's why it gives me like this preconceived notion about like, I don't know if I want it. But to their, to get back on the respectful route, it's probably legit good. I don't know how it would be compared to East or West, because I think that's a fair point with it being closer to Nintendo HQ. They probably add like a little extra there, like a little extra added spice. But South is probably good. They probably work hard to put the stuff out that, you see me, I have to save my nickel.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like that wasn't even me trying to like shade their offering. I just don't know if they even go to PAX South, because like some things they just don't go to. Like like they go to Comic-Con San Diego, or San Diego.
I did not know that.
They go to that Comic-Con, but they don't go to the Comic-Con in New York. So
I didn't know that.
They just
I didn't know they
which thing they're going to do.
What do they have at? Because I never pieced that. I love me some comic books. I never knew that they went to Comic-Con. What do they usually have there?
Again,
just
it
like,
depends
just
on
like PAX?
what time of the year is, where they'll have like a booth and then they'll bring like demos for the upcoming games and the games that recently came out. And sometimes they'll do like some type of announcement or whatever. Like they had a Marvel Ultimate Alliance panel there.
Oh, okay. Huh, that's neat. You taught me something new. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what we do here. What we don't do here, though, is play RPGs. But you can. There's a 10-hour long Dragon Quest XI demo up on the Switch eShop. Also, if you're into that type of nerd stuff, you can preload it right now.
I would say, I would definitely say, I'd say get on that. I mean, it's free. Like, why not try it? My introduction, like, I'm not like a lot, I guess you say like a lot of other Westerners, because I have run across some people like, man, what the heck is Dragon Quest, man? It's another sword character. Like, they just like, man, it's a wasted slot, man. Like, dude, relax, man. Like, it's good stuff. Like, you have to try it.
Take Dragon Quest Hero out of the game. He's garbage. I hate him. Worst character.
Yay!
He's trash. There's no redemption. Take him out of the game. If you turn items off, turn him off. Make him connected with items, man, and he can stay in the game.
See, I can't even tell. I don't know if are you hitting me with the sarcasm,
I'm being
or are you
serious,
legit mean
but at the same time, like, I don't really care. I don't care personally, because Pokemon Trainer, who is my main in Smash Brothers, is like a pretty good counter against Hero. But just like as a competitive, like a more competitively minded player of Smash Bros, I don't like the amount of RNG that he has. I don't like it, and the fact that he can like KO you at 0 is stupid.
Yeah, it's all right. So on that, like, here's the thing on that. I'm not gonna make any excuses for it at all. As far as heroes, all right. So this is how I deal with hero. I first started playing them, of course, because I do all my.
You're one of those. No, I don't even want to hear it. You're biased. You've been tainted by his garbageness.
Let me preface this. I don't get up in arms about any of like, oh, this character, but I can see where the problem comes from. The way that I've been, and I have to preface this as well, I don't think that I'm like super good or anything. I just like enjoy. I don't know. I think in like a like.
See, if you don't even know, I have very little faith.
Well, because I don't try to pay attention. Like, I try so hard to not. All right, so this is. I'm gonna try to make this like super quick and not draw it out. There's a friend of mine who I hold in high regards, who's really good at like all fighting games. He plays Smash Brothers too. He played it like a lot. He played it against me. He would often get pissed off with some of the stuff that I would do because it would make me win. But in my heart of hearts, I don't believe that I'm super good, but I guess I'm good enough. Like, if somebody had like a tournament or whatever in my state, and I ended up placing like fifth in it. Out of the people that like, I don't want to say that I'm good. I don't. It's not in me. But as far as beating hero, just the best thing to do is to bait. Like, I used to bait it out.
I know how to beat hero. I just think that regardless of that, he's dumb. Like, it's just like the chance of being able to KO somebody at 0 is just stupid. But again, like I said, selfishly, I don't really care because Pokemon Trainer is a very hard counter to it, and a lot of people just don't know how to. A lot of heroes don't know how to fight Pokemon Trainer properly, and all they do is they freaking dash attack, and that's an easy move to counter. So I'm not really worried about it on that end. It's just like, like it just on the concept of a character that can randomly kill you with one move when they didn't earn that. Just I don't like that in a competitive game, or in a competitive setting, I should say. Like, I'm fine with him being in Smash Brothers as a whole, because Smash Brothers ultimately is a party game, but it also allows it to, like, it gives you the option to make it a competitive game. So it should give you the option to either tone down his RNG or just not allow it in competitive modes like they used to do with the Mii fighters.
Sakurai looking at y'all like right now, like, man, that's why I don't do y'all no favors. I don't need no favors. But
I'm done.
But no, you're see, you at the very end, you really got me with that. As an option, if you put it as an option, I think that solves like almost, if not all, the problems with them. So I can't even top that. Like, I think you're right on that. Like, I don't have a problem with them being in. Like you said, you don't care either. Have it as an option. Simple as that. Like, that
so if you want to play Dragon Quest for 10 hours, you can do that on eShop, and your save transfers over, and it'll be a good time if you're an RPG person. I am not, so I will not.
Yeah, and that's fair. Like, a lot of, like, you have to be like a really good, like Persona 5, you have to be like a really good RPG, game to be able to just draw people in, because some people, it is fair. Like, you like what you like. Not everybody's going to be in that. Me, I'm down with it to a certain degree, but that's because I got on Dragon Quest like earlier on, like back on PlayStation. Like I said, I played Dragon Quest 7 was like the very first Dragon Quest game that I played. Really liked it. The story really got me. There was one part, I ain't gonna lie, one part really, that part gives me shivers to this day. Like, it was such like a messed up scene. Like, the story was so good. So with that said, and there's like a bunch of other parts and throughout the Dragon Quest series that does stuff like that, give it a chance. If you don't like it, hey, it is what it is. Hopefully you had some kind of semblance of fun with it. It's a good demo. I kind of hate how they did the whole the Pokken style demo of like, hey, you've got X amount of time with this demo, and then after that, you can't do it. Like, that's kind of jank.
I mean, they didn't really do that. It's just, it's the first 10 hours of the game. So it's not you literally have 10 hours, and then once that 10 hours is over, you can't play it anymore. It's you play through the game up until the 10-hour mark, and then the story ends.
correct.
The end point is when you get your fourth party member, and people are saying, including Nintendo, it takes up to 10 hours to do that.
Okay, cool. Well, I redact that last part. Yeah, that's completely fine then. I think even if you're not like a big RPG fan, I think there's something to like about it, and even more so to sweeten the deal. You're welcome, Square Enix, but you can. It's like and Walmart too. Walmart and Amazon. It's like $50 right now. Like you're not really like missing out on a lot, and you're getting real like in my opinion. I mean,
Astral Chain also is coming out, and I think you should buy that instead. Moving on.
If you have to be real, if you have to pick between the two, yeah, I would go with Astral. Dude, I want that game so bad. But that's also it looks right. It's just for me, it's one. I'm a big Platinum fan, as anybody should be. And number two, it screams, to a certain degree, it screams JoJo's Bizarre Adventure to me, and I love me some JoJo's, boy. And just having your own stand, well, I guess they call them legions, but having your own stand, like next to you, even one of them, I can't remember which one it does, but I don't even know how. Do you know anything about JoJo's?
No, I didn't. Not the JoJo. I don't know nothing about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but I made a whole video about Astral Chain.
Boy, I mean, not to be one of those, hey, you should watch this, like not like that, but dude, just when you get the chance, man, you should watch JoJo's. It's so freaking good. And there's one of the legions from Astral Chain. They even have one of the iconic like attacking moves that JoJo's character, like some of the JoJo's, like the main protagonists have, and it's such a satisfying move. I really wish I could go into detail more, but yeah, just when you get bored, man, you ain't got nothing else to do, play it in the background or something. It's well worth it. But yeah, you'll like, if you look it up, you'll see like people like referring to the legions as like legit. There's things called stands in JoJo's, and people will relate legions to that like instantaneously. Like, oh yeah, that's like, even if you go to Astral Chain, like Nintendo Switch, like you go to their YouTube channel, if you look through the comments, I guarantee you're gonna see a bunch of JoJo's jokes, a bunch of JoJo's references, because it fits so well. But yeah, between the two, I would get Astral Chain too. It looks like it plays phenomenally. Like I love it so much. I really hope they do get those. And they probably will get some sequels and stuff for it. It's well worth it.
But no, I said that. But really, the real game that you need to decide between is Link's Awakening, because that comes out the week before Dragon Quest does. So if you're getting Dragon Quest, I hope you don't also like Link's Awakening, or you just got money to throw away, Because more so time. That's the bigger thing. Because like what? Dragon Quest is probably like 100 hours.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, Dragon Quest, it'll take you a minute for almost any of the games. So yeah, you definitely
say that. Let me walk it back a little bit. I'm betting that you can probably finish Link's Awakening in the week between then. So if you have the money and the time, just play through Link's Awakening first and then get Dragon Quest.
Yeah. Like time, man. Like, time is it's never on my side. And that's what I was saying in the very beginning, how I always feel like crap if I'm not if I don't feel I'm doing anything productive. You can do it, of course, because you have a much bigger channel than I am, so this, you really have to put that time in to do all this stuff. So you're fine on that. For me, man, it's like an early onset existential, like just crisis with time. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I do this. So yeah, time is a very big factor for it. I think you can, like Link's Awakening, because I remember that. Yeah, you can power through that. You won't get everything completed, but you'll power through that, and I think you'll have a good time. Yeah, Dragon Quest, that's something, if you've got the time, only if you got the time. If you got stuff to do, Dragon Quest ain't for you. So take that from what you will. Between the two, I think if I ranked them, Astral Chain would come to me first, and then I would get even though I really like Dragon Quest, I would get Link's Awakening second, and then I would get Dragon Quest third. Hopefully it stays at $50. I would like that a lot. I have no idea how that pricing is going to go. Hopefully it does like Dragon Quest Builders, like just bottom out at like 50, or go on sale Black Friday. I would like that, but I don't recall Square Enix doing anything like, not too often at least. But you never know. So that's how I feel on that.
True. But moving on from that, Game Freak is finally ditching the global trade system. Thank the stars, because the GTS is trash. Not saying that Pokemon Home is going to be any better, but they're moving the global trade system functionality over to Pokemon Home. I think this could maybe make the community more welcoming towards Home, because they don't like it very much right now, just because Pokemon Sword and Shield isn't going to support all the Pokemon. I don't think people understand the fact that Pokemon Home specifically still does, so you'll still be able to have all your Pokemon there. You just won't be able to transfer them until they come out with a game that has support for whatever that Pokemon is. But yeah, I don't know. They're not really saying how much of like what improvements they're making, if any. But hopefully, bare minimum, they make the improvements of like not allowing people to list Pokemon that aren't possible. Like, I want a level 1 Mew, like that type of crap. You should just not be able to list a Pokemon that you can't naturally obtain.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Like, I don't think I think their biggest problem right there is it's not enough cohesive like information out there in general for it. It's just kind of, and that's I really think that's their biggest problem. Just this whole thing in general is just communicate. There needs to be. I mean, I know you got a business, you got to save. We got to save stuff for later and all that other good stuff. But I really feel like communication is the biggest problem, and that's the. Yeah, it sucks that they're not doing it. I mean, at this point, if you want to be like a mature adult about it, I understand. You can't really just, even though I wouldn't say it's a good. I mean, I guess I'm speaking from a fan standpoint, so I can't criticize it too much, but I understand, you can't walk it back to where, because you got the toy lines to release, you got cards to release, all that other good stuff. You got to prepare for this generation, so you really can't walk back what you decided to do.
I mean, I don't think it's an idea. I don't think it's like I don't think they said, it would be a good thing that we could do. Limit the Pokedex. I think that's more so necessity. They're like, we're making HD with like a full-on brand new HD Pokemon RPG, and we have over 1,000 Pokemon. Do we want to use the time and effort to put everybody into a game like that would take significant man hours to do, with however many like animators and designers and like people that handle that very specific part of the game? Do we want to dedicate them to doing that, or do we want to work more on improving what the game looks like overall? Do we want to do animated cutscenes? Do we want to do voice acting? Do we want to do stuff like that? I think that it's just an economy of the amount of time and effort that you have to put into a game that has to release at a certain point. Like they have shareholders and stuff like that. So they can't just say like, what, we're going to give you everything in the kitchen sink and we'll see you in 3 years. They can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, considering the fact that so many people are going to buy regardless, it doesn't incentivize you to actually, to really push it to the limit like that. There's some companies that will do that, and, I love you guys for that, but I from a business standpoint, I get it. I don't like it, but I get it.
And I don't know, like, it's too early to even say that, because I think that there's going to be like, it would shock me if they were like, you know what, we're not going to put Charizard in it, and we're not going to put Blaziken, and we're not going to put like, like all the ones that everybody likes. They're going to say, Flabebe, not coming to the game. The ones that if I just said to you, what's Lopunny look like, you're going to be like, what? Like those Pokemon. There's not going to be the biggest of the big that they're going to be cutting on a large scale. So it's kind of just like a situation of like people complaining because they can. These are going to be the Pokemon that get cut out. I guarantee that we're just going to sit in your box anyway.
Yeah, and like you said, a lot of them are complaining because they can. But I really think a big chunk of that though is that lack of, again, I think it's like a lack of communication. Like if they would let people know like exactly, hey, this is getting cut, hey, this is getting, it's funny, Pikachu on the side, like, man, I don't have to worry about none of this. Good luck, buddy. But
I think a lot of Pokemon are like, again, like I said, Charizard. I don't think they're going to cut any of the starters. You know, like I don't think that they're going to cut any of the first 151 because we just got Pokemon Let's Go, and it wouldn't make sense for them to be like, you know, that Pokedex that you just completed, can't use it.
You know, I guess on that, my final say on that, it would be nice to know what percentage. Like, have they said what percentage yet of how many is going to be?
You know, what would be hilarious if they cut 12 Pokemon. That would be the funniest thing. In the history of life.
I ain't gonna lie, that would be legendary.
Because everybody made this whole big deal about it, and they're just like, yeah, no, we're just cutting 10.
That would be legendary. That would be something. That would be. Oh my god! The bad kid in me is like, hey man, please do that. That would actually. Oh man, can you imagine the firestorm from that? I mean, everybody would be elated and happy after that, but God, that would be so funny.
Yep.
That'd be so funny.
But apart from that, Pokemon Home is going to facilitate the online competitions that they're going to be doing, and like the ranking system and like all that stuff that the global trade or global link system used to. So hopefully it's better. It already seems more promising than how Smash handles ranked modes. So there's that.
I agree on that. I looked at the presentation for Home. It does, like you said, it looks promising. I kind of got sleepy when I was watching it, but I watched it nonetheless because I love me some Pokemon. So it does. It legit overall it looks promising, and you know, let's see what they do with it.
And then from there, Nintendo made a whole bunch of announcements at Gamescom. Not all of them were featured in their Indies Direct thing that's called Indie World that I made a whole video about, and it took forever. But anyway, they say at Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, it's been a week of Nintendo news about the stellar lineup on Nintendo Switch system. From details about upcoming DLC for the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, the Black Order game, to deep dives into games like Astral Chain and The Witcher 3, Wild Hunt. I'm not reading the whole title for that game. The news coming out of Gamescom highlighted the deep well of content that is headed to Nintendo Switch this year. So basically, they did a whole bunch of like 30-minute video presentations of like, here's some new information of this game. Here's like gameplay and like that sort of thing. And like they said, they announced DLC for Marvel Ultimate Alliance and all that good deer stuff.
Yeah, I saw some of the stuff for it. I did end up watching that, like the 30-something odd minute where they did the gameplay for Astral Chain. That actually really what made me love it even more. I was like, this looks really freaking good. Like I really want this game. I'm probably not gonna play it as much as I should, but I really just want it. I love it so much.
Did you watch any
as
other
far
ones,
as
like
the
Witcher and all that stuff?
Yeah, I caught some of the Witcher stuff. I'm not a fan of the way it looks in handheld, but I understand like just the difficulty of getting over. It's something I can definitely do, so I don't knock them for it. I do like the way it looks docked though. I'm pretty pleased with how that came out. It's a shame that The Witcher couldn't have like it could be more stylized to where it doesn't look as bad coming over. But it is what it is, and I tip my hat to the developers getting something like that over. That's not a small feat. The little that I know about programming, that is not a small feat. So I respect the hustle on that. So I'm down with it. As far did you say they had the indie games there too, like Indie World games?
They didn't
some
bring
of
it yet, but they had a Indie World presentation where they announced a whole lot of indie games and stuff like that, and gave updates on some prices. I mean, not prices, but like release dates and stuff like that from games that we already knew about.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you brought it up, but I couldn't tell if you didn't exactly or not. So, did you want to talk about the Indie World games?
We're going to do that in a little bit because that's what my video was about. So we're going to get into that after we get a little bit more into like what they talked about at Gamescom.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
Oh,
they
okay.
they talk more about Pokemon. The producer or the director of the game gave a look at a town in Pokemon and confirmed that we can sit. You can sit now. You couldn't do it in the last game. You could do it in the game before that, but then they were like, nah, the trainers in Alola don't know how to sit. Turns out. But now, trainers in Galar, they know how to sit. So there it is. Also, now Link's Awakening is available for pre-purchase on the eShop. I think that means that you can get it with a pass now, because the games that aren't up for pre-launch are not usable for the passes. Like they say, like, okay, you can get Astral Chain and stuff like that, but if it's not up for pre-purchase, you can't use the voucher yet. But now you can. Apart from that, they announced that there's going to be 2D modes, or 2D mode for Mario and Sonic at the Tokyo Olympic Games.
That's interesting. That part I did not catch.
Weird. Like it's weird to me because it's like different eras. So like they have Sonic, and then they have Mario, and Sonic looks more akin because Sonic doesn't really have an 8-bit game. So they use 8-bit Mario and 16-bit Sonic. It's like, why didn't you just use 16-bit Mario?
Man, that's that. I let me look at this. I'm taken back by this because I never thought about that. That's interesting. I'm looking at it now.
It's so strange. I don't know why they did it like that.
It is.
But I'd be lying if I said that doesn't make me more interested in playing that game. Because before I was probably gonna check it out and be like, yeah, this is what I expected it to be. But now there might be a video that comes out of this. Who knows?
I wouldn't blame you if you did. That's. I mean, it's a very small thing, but that's interesting. Look at that.
Also, Nintendo did a tournament for Smash Brothers called Nintendo Live Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Gamescom 2019 Invitational Tournament. These days, man. But yeah, they did that to compete for a spot in the next Pokemon Smash Brothers tournament that's going to be in Japan. And they also did it in the US and stuff like that. But they did this specifically live at Gamescom, and they streamed it. I didn't watch it because I don't know any of the players that played in that tournament.
It's not one of the one. And I try to steer clear from the competitive stuff so much, but it just keeps.
I'm on the complete
creeping in on
end
me.
of that.
I am too. Like I don't want to be.
No,
like,
I mean I'm on the complete opposite end
of
where you're at, where it's like I know all that stuff. Like if they would have been like, yeah, MK Leo's coming to this tournament, and Sam Sora and Tweak, and like I would be like, oh yes, okay, sign me up. I'm watching this tournament. But since none of those people that I know were at this tournament, it flew completely under my radar.
I would like to play against MK Leo.
Dude.
I know people like
dude.
if anybody. I mean, let me be clear on. Let me say this too. On the flip side of that, you'd be surprised how many there are some amazing players that you don't ever they don't do any of the
but the fact that you can't even tell me what your GSP is tells me that you probably don't have as much game knowledge as MK Leo does.
Well, all right, GSP. I mean, it's nothing special. I don't go online all the time. It's like has something. Was it 4.6 million or something? It's not like super.
Not trying to hear. You're not being MK Leo.
I mean, well, here's all right. So, final words on that, or at least from me, is give him some practice time. He's not invincible. Nobody's invincible
for sure.
People act like he is. Like, calm down. If you play against him long enough and you get used to him, you can beat him.
That it's just the fact that the level that he's at is like the chances of somebody that kind of plays the game sometimes beating them compared to other people that are also on that level of like this is literally their job and this is what they do when they're already on a similar level to him. They need to be the ones that you look at and you're like, yeah, they could probably beat MK Leo. Maybe like in a friendly and you use Joker. I mean, not Joker. I always get those two confused for whatever reason by name. Sometimes I'll never look at Joker and be like, that's Hero. But sometimes when I'm thinking Hero, I say Joker. Don't know why. But anyway, Hero. If you're like, I'm going to use Hero, and then you get a couple thwacks, and it just so happens to hit him, I can see that, but I can't see like 1v1 like competitive level match of just some rando beating MKLeo. I couldn't imagine it.
I'm just saying, man, you'd be surprised. Like, it's the myth and the legend of it's becoming it's big. You know how people would be like, oh, this man, you can't. That whole Muhammad Ali float, I float like a butterfly.
After this podcast, 1v1 me in Smash, and then I'll report back to the people and let them know if you're garbage or not.
I mean, I'll be glad to. Remember, we did it before. Remember, I played against you before.
I don't
yeah, dude.
Oh,
remember,
maybe it was
I was
in the
the
stream.
one.
Maybe it was in one of the streams that I did.
I think so, because it was like, hey, I was like, only real men pick random or whatever.
Oh,
I was joking around and so.
Yeah, I remember that. But we'll do a sanctioned, like, this is what this is, to see where you stand. So pick whatever your best character is, and I'll let people know on next week's episode of the podcast how that worked.
Oh, I like to play with everybody though. But I mean,
we can do that the next time I stream. We can do that, but just so people have a more immediate answer.
All right, yeah, that's fair. Like, I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, "Oh man, this and that, and this and that," and then not back it up. Like, I'd be glad to.
A second thought, I don't know if I can do that. But yeah, that's it for the news. Let us know what you think about any and all of those stories. But now we're going to talk about my video that I made this week that took years off my life, and I'm never doing that again. Not like that.
Boy, did you do one of those hour-long videos? I made that mistake.
The problem wasn't necessary. I mean, it was length, but it wasn't length in the way that, like, editing an hour-long video would be hell. In this case, it was trying to make sure that this video wasn't half an hour long. So it was like, the concept of the video was going to be, because I wanted to do something about the Indie World presentation that they did. But I didn't just want to be like, here's a recap of the Indie World Direct. Here's what you already know in a shorter video. I wanted to give more information behind the games and the developers than they did. So that took a lot of research, being like, who are these devs and where are they from? And like, what have they done in the past? And why are they developers? And what inspiration did they get for the game? And, you know, like all that stuff. So it was like a combination of like digging for all that stuff, because again, these are indie developers. A lot of them are teams of 2 to 4 people. So they don't have like the most information available on them publicly, unless they like really blew up, and then they like have interviews and documentaries and like that sort of thing. So it was hard on that level, but it was also hard to do because after finding all that information, it was trying to figure out, okay, which games do I spend the most time on, and how much time is that? And what do I focus on specifically? Like, if they are a developer that developed 25 games, do I talk about all 25? Like that sort of thing. So yeah, that video is not fun to make.
Well, I mean, I don't know if anybody else is going to pat you on the back for it, but I definitely think you deserve it, because from experience, that kind of stuff is no joke. You always, and I can tell, like, the way that you are in your videos, you tend to really want to give like the fullest amount of information possible. The whole thing on YouTube, I'm coming to find out, like, trying to find the balance between, all right, how long this, with you cutting it down, trying to make sure it's not long, how long it should be, versus how much information and how much value you give in that video. And it is not an easy, I mean, it could be easy for other people, I don't know, but from my own experience, it's not easy at all. Because you got that whole, people trail off and they start getting bored after like a certain amount of time. It's different for different people, of course, but trying to do that versus, hey, let me give you full information. I want to educate you on this. I want to give this video the proper respect it deserves. It's not an easy feat. So when I see, that's like, I really want a disclaimer. Like, if I need to criticize, I'll criticize. If not, it's not. If something's good, I'm going to say it and all that other good stuff. That's another reason that I legit like your channel. It's so underappreciated. Like, I know it's that's a term that gets thrown around a lot, but it's so underappreciated. Like the value that you give in the videos and stuff that you do. So I have to tip my hat. I've never been able to like officially give you that. So I tip my non-existent hat to you. because it's so not easy at all. Like me trying to do, because I just got done, like I said, before I got on this podcast with you, I was recording like a script and stuff for like another video, and I find myself, I'm the type of person that I want to give, like, I want to feel like I'm not wasting your time. But if you have to find that balance between giving too much information and too little information, and it's really not easy. And then you have to keep it entertaining too. So that's what, again, I can't stress it enough. You know, I tip my hat on that. It's you know, you should legit pat yourself on the back that you've done so well with what you got, because it is not easy. And if you're like us, where you have to self-teach yourself how to edit and do all that stuff, it's not a joke. Running like a ship almost by yourself. Respect, man.
I get a fair amount. Like the reception from the people that, like, because I was tweeting it and stuff like that. Like this video, because my videos usually go up on Tuesdays. This week my video went up on Thursday because I was not going to have time to finish it on Thursday. And everybody was like, "Yeah, it was worth the time. It's a good video. You did a lot. I learned a lot. That sort of thing." So I'm happy with it. It turned out good. But on to the next thing, and hopefully I pick a topic that's easier. Yeah, I'm learning that too. Pick topics that are just like, you don't have to kill yourself to actually try to do it. Please don't. Right. So to kick things off with the comments, Jordan the Best says, "I like Eastward, The Tourist, and Ori. The skater game kind of needs a new art style in my opinion. It looks too much like an iPhone game. I feel bad for saying that because it's an indie studio. It just looks unappealing. I know the game could be amazing and graphics don't mean everything, but it kind of looks cheap and needs some personality." Did you see any of these games? Like, did you watch the Indie World presentation? I did. What did you think about Skater XL? I think the person that made that comment, I think I sound like a politician. I think you made a really good choice there, young man. Stay in school and eat your vegetables. But anyways, yeah, I think he's got a good point with that. I looked at Skater XL and yeah, I was like, it looks decent, but it's not anything that'll, I kind of like, I'm in that camp too, to where I need maybe Nintendo-fy it. Like, give me something completely different with the skating genre, and I probably would be more on board. If it's just like another skating game, I mean, more power to you. That's, some people like that. I remember Player Essence OJ. He said he like, hey, I want to get down on that game. But it's not gonna be for everybody. I need something different for me to get into it. Eastward, like he said, I looked at that too. Eastward looks kind of saucy, Eastward, man. I think I like it. Ori was the obvious. This is the game that is the best one that they announced, even though that game's already out. But a lot of people don't have Xbox or a PC that can run it, I guess. Yeah. So that coming to Switch is a big deal. But Eastward is the other game that stuck out to me as like, oh yeah, I'm playing this. It's gorgeous to me, man. It looks like Gravity Falls and Miyazaki film had like an SNES themed baby. Like I'm very like one thing. All right, so for me, I love indies. I love anybody that's trying to do something for themselves. So I really gravitate towards indie games instead of trying to go, join like a soulless corporation. Although I would love to be under Nintendo's umbrella. Anybody doing something, I love stuff like that. But just the beauty of it, like I love it so much. So yeah, when he mentioned that, what was the other game that he mentioned too? He said The Tourist, which is the Shinin game. Yeah, The Tourist. Shinin, they usually make like good stuff like that. So even I like the I like the few. It looks like Minecraft mixed with some Shakedown Hawaii mixed with some Splunky. Like I like that a lot too. Creature, I don't think he mentioned it, but Creature in the Well, that I want that too. That looks legit good. Like it, the people, or at least the comments and different things that I see online, I feel like a lot of these games don't get the due respect that they deserve. Not to say that you just got to roll it. You got to earn that red carpet, but they don't get the respect that they deserve. Because I've watched some of like the live streams, like where people in the comment section talking about it, and they just like all over like the indie stuff. It's like, dude, relax, man, give them a chance. You don't know what they even play like yet. But a big reason why I made the video in the first place is like, not because like I'm usually down on indies, but when they announce them in these directs, they just don't exist until they're out. It's like Celeste, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. And then when the game comes out, I'm like, this game's great, but I don't know that until I play it. Like, it does. Like, a lot of indie games don't demo as well as big AAA games do. You can't look at an indie and know that, oh, this is a quality indie game. Whereas you can look at a quality AAA game and say, yeah, this probably is going to be good.
Yeah. I hate that, but I understand it fully because I see it through the same lens. It makes me think of, like, I hate they changed it. They need to keep the word nindies.
I think they are, but
anyway,
they're figuring it out. Because the guy that used to be the head of their third-party relations works at Microsoft now. And they have another guy who he was still worked in the department, but he was like a lower rank than he is now. So I think he's kind of like putting his spin on it, and like, you know, that means that they're shaking stuff up now, where it's like, and how they handled indies was in flux this generation anyway. Because they have, like, at first it was like, it's an indies direct, and then it's an indie spotlight, and then, like, you know, like, they always change the branding for it. Whereas, like, for Nintendo directs, they're Nintendo directs. They might be, it's a Splatoon direct, it's an ARMS direct, it's a Pokemon direct, but it's always a direct. It's not, this one's a Pokemon presentation, you know? But with indies, they have, like, all different kinds of names, because they're still trying to figure out what that cohesive, like, branding is.
Yeah, dude, just keep. Oh my god! I mean, you're right, but just keep. I'm speaking out into the wind, and they're not. They're probably not gonna hear what I'm saying now. But keep Nindies. That's such a. It's simple. It's good. It's straight to the point. It's obvious. It's Nintendo mixed with Nin. Don't mess with success, man. I mean, you know, do whatever you want, but don't mess with it. That Nindies was a perfect name. They got that right, in my opinion. They got that right immediately. Keep Nindies. But yeah, as far as that person's comment, that's a good comment. It's a lot of good. It's a lot of good stuff in there.
Is a regular. He always leaves good comments. Speaking of regulars, though, Eric Henley, he said, "I was never into indie games until I got the Switch. Many of my now favorite games are indies. Now, that's redundant, Eric. Don't be dumb. I need a dev contact so they can send me all of those to try out. Give me Panic Button video, because I said." I want to make a video about Panic Button specifically and like their history and like what they're doing for Switch and all that stuff. I don't know if I'm going to do that now because this video took a long time and it didn't do that great, so might not.
You don't know how right you are on there, because let me tell you this, I can legit, like in this hangouts that we're doing, I legit can easily go to, because I was thinking about doing a Panic Button video like some months ago. I was going to call it like the Panic Button problem and go like, why, you know, the whole issue with the Panic Button being the go-to as far as getting games on the Switch. But yeah, for that same reason, it's just been sitting on the shelf. I would like to do that. I don't think too many people would do that. But at the same time, just like you said, demo-wise, I don't think anybody's really just going to watch it like I would like to. It deserves, like, even if it's done by anybody else, I feel like, you know, Panic Button as a whole, it would deserve better views than what it would get. And that's really sad. But I get it fully, because it's like you pour hours. Like, this is hours that you're not going to get back. Once that time is gone, that baby gone. So I get it in full. I was legit thinking about the same thing like months ago. And I haven't done it because it's a time sink. Like, I learned that from like that when I mentioned that whole hour-long Breath of the Wild thing. Not to say that just because, it will be an hour long. No, just that time sink. Like, you put all that effort into it, and not necessarily that nobody gives a crap, but if you don't watch it long enough, Google's gonna be like,
I
don't want to watch it long enough.
Like, I know what videos I could make that would perform significantly better than that video would, so I'm just going to put the time into that. So yeah, that's how that's gonna work. Maybe eventually I'll do that video when they have more games. When they port Half-Life 3 to the Switch or the swap, I'll make that video about Panic Button.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably just do like a, not to say basic because that probably gives it like a bad connotation or whatever, but you could probably do like a surface level video on it, give people like you know what, like a generalist
really
route.
Do that.
Maybe
it's not really the type of thing that I wouldn't be happy with that video.
I know. I'm trying to bridge the gap because it's not easy to do.
But maybe later in the future, or unless everybody starts sharing the video more and Google likes it more and it gets like, what, 10,000 views, then I'll make the pinning button video.
Keep it in your back pocket.
Diana Ortiz 92 said, Moon Studios, Ori and the Blind Forest for Switch. Thank you guys for bringing this over from Microsoft. Oh, and shout out to Devolver. All their games are awesome. And to the Gungeon, favorite indie game on Switch. 100 emoji, 100 emoji, 100 emoji.
I mean, she's not God, man. I don't want to seem like I'm pandering, but it's a good comment too. Like we always figured that they were gonna bring Ori over, so it's not really a super surprise, but beautiful game. It's like duh. And then enter the like Devolver makes, God, I love Devolver stuff so much.
I tweeted about them a while ago because they have their PR partner, Sandbox Strategies, I think, or Strategists or something. I think that's the company. They're one of their reps, Clara. She sends me the Switch games, and it just got to the point because like we get a lot of like indie games in our emails and stuff like that. And a lot of them I'll look at and I'll be like, I don't know if I want to play this because there's probably not going to be any video that comes out of this. I've never heard of this game. I have other things that I should be playing. So for me to like go out of my way and try to learn about this game enough to like play this when there's other things that I know exist that I want to play doesn't really make sense. But the ones that come through from Devolver, I've learned to pay extra attention to as if it was a Nintendo code being like, hey, here's this game, play this. So yeah, Devolver Digital, they're killing it.
Right, man. They and I guess you can take this for what you will. They know that Adult Swim strategy works, just being that off the cuff, quirky, goofy, odd, weird, in your face kind of thing. It works. Like it's relatable. Like I'm a sucker for it. Like I love it. And Enter the Gungeon is one of those interesting things where like I'll play it, I'll get pissed off, like, man, this is BS, and then I'll leave it for a time and then come back to it, pick it up again. Man, I'm getting screwed over, and it just like it's such a good game. It's really I enjoy it a lot. Like any game where you can shoot and it just says bullet. Like it's fun. It's legit fun. It's really, and I really, because I'm big on multiplayer games, so I really love games where you get destroyed with someone else. Like I think I from the heart I enjoy that. Like Misery Loves Company. It's really fun getting destroyed with somebody else playing with you.
Yeah, because otherwise it's just sad.
It is. It's tragic by yourself. You're like, oh, like by yourself. But with a friend, it's a blast. Because if somebody else is screaming too, it doesn't feel as bad. It's like, hey, I feel this pain too. Come on in.
The other side, painful. It's like we can do this together. Friendship power.
But dude, I love it. The bosses are BS, but I love it. I love Enter the Gungeon. I love that. I'm so glad Hotline Miami came over. Because when I saw Mr. Shifty, I was like, where's nothing against Mr. Shifty, but where's Hotline Miami, man? Why is this taking so long? Like this should have been here long ago. But I'm glad it finally made the leap over. All their games are good. I mean, not all their games, but the majority of their games is really good stuff. Hey man, I gotta be honest, man. I can't be like, oh man, I love everything. Like there's other.
No, I just want somebody. I want this next comment. I want you to be like, this is the worst comment I've ever read in my life. So to segue into that, Andrew C said, you do a lot of good research for these. Thank you. What do you think about that comment?
my man's lying. He actually don't do any research at all, man. He literally just rolled out of a drunken stupor and was like, hey man, I'm going to go ahead and crank this video out. Whatever, you'll watch it.
There it is.
do the Rob Snyder Adam Sandler thing. Like, whatever, man. I'm coming out of this drunken stupor. Let me go ahead and make this couple million.
That's what I like. Let me go back fair and balanced criticism. There it is. Nicholas Copeland said this was a very informative video. thank you so much. There are a few indies I was interested in, and I just might give into now.
And they and yeah, you should. I mean, indies, like I said, like anything else, you need to really prove yourself. It's a lot of good stuff out there, and really, if you just give it a chance, you'll find out that you like it, because you don't have to have like this massive budget to make an amazing game.
Yeah,
just try different stuff.
At the end of the day, like a lot of the franchises that we like now started out with a game that cost $2 million and had 7 people working on it. So for them to do that now, that is like, it's still a good game. It's just usually in a style that isn't as modern. It's like a modern take on an older style.
Yeah, and you make a really good point on that. Like a lot of nothing started off like the juggernaut that it is. Mario didn't start off as big as it is. SpongeBob didn't start off as big as it is.
That's
Mickey
such a random like transition. Mario, SpongeBob.
If you talk to me more, you'll get a lot more stuff like this from left field. But I'll try to 7 degrees it Kevin Bacon style and try to pull it all together. But yeah, not everything starts off like massive. So give the little stuff a chance. Like they really need it. Like some of these, like Owlboy, I mean Cuphead, my God, like if that went south, they would have lost their homes when they made it. Like there's a real grind in trying to put this stuff together. Like and me, from my experience, like, and just like you too, trying to build something up from nothing, it's rough, right, man. So they need, if it's good, like here's the thing, if it's good, I mean, or if it sucks, hey, don't, give a critique, don't play it. Like you don't have to support everything just because it's small. Just if you like it, give it. I'm just my bottom thing. Give it a chance. If you don't like it, oh well. If you do, good, and get the word out for them. Help the little guys get somewhere in life.
Yup. And we're gonna get into Q&A, because that's the part of the show that we're in right now. No other reason than that. But we'll talk about last week's comments. If you want to be included in the show, you can leave a comment on these episodes. You can go into our Discord and ask a question when I post the question thing saying, hey, we recorded a podcast. Here's who's in it. And here's what we're going to talk about. I'll also do that on the YouTube community post and on Twitter. So if you want to be a part of the show, that's how you do it. Seven did it. And she says, this will be my first comment where Dan was on the podcast. Hi, Dan. Rip Dan. Unless you're not on again next week, in which case, Rip Dan. Was glad to hear some Persona 5 love. I'm a few hundred hours in myself, but still need to do at least one more playthrough for the platinum. Oh my goodness. And then repeat it all again for the Royal, because that game has taken over my life. Futaba? Is that how I say that? You played this game, right?
Yeah. Not to where you're reaching.
No, but I mean,
level.
like to tell me if this is how I say this name.
Oh no. Honestly, that looks like another word. I'm not gonna say where I recognize that word from, but
I'm just gonna say Futaba, and Seven, aka Bianca, can let me know in the comments if I'm right or not. Is greater than Joker plus screw Akachi. Let me know if I said that right. Don't at me. The Crash Bandicoot toaster story was also hilarious and made me realize that I'll never be a real adult. For context, we had a whole thing of like me being like Crash Bandicoot is trash, and Dan Seibert from that Cyber channel, also editor for Game Theory, was like, you know what? I'm starting to get to that point because he has a whole bunch of nostalgia for Crash Bandicoot, and I'm always telling him it's a garbage game because it's a garbage game. And I was saying that Crash Bandicoot, realizing that Crash Bandicoot is trash is like becoming an adult and going to Home Depot and then seeing a toaster and being like, that's a nice toaster. Once that happens, your childhood's dead. Rip your childhood. Once you realize that Crash Bandicoot is garbage, you're no longer a child.
Boy, oh yeah, that are like, oh man, I can save my interest rates by doing it. Like, yeah, that's a wrap, man. Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that Crash is garbage.
Because
Crash,
it's trash.
is it's a mixture. It's a mixture of decent and trash. But honestly, just like some of the
you can't do that. You can't put an apple in the trash can and be like, it's still an apple. Like, no, it's garbage at that point.
I mean, I ain't gonna lie. Apple to me is garbage, but yeah, it's like some of the platforming in it is crap. I've always hated the camera angle. I know it's iconic for it, like people are nostalgic for it, but I hate that camera angle so much, or at least just that top down kind of tilted
design.
I hate it. I hate it. But people are so nostalgic for it, and nostalgia is a powerful drug. Like, that'll make you like, yeah, this is fine.
Unless you're me. Because if you're me, you have a lot of nostalgia for Pokemon Yellow, and you also know that game's garbage.
Oh, man. What's wrong with it?
Play Gen 1. Play a Game Boy Gen 1 game, and then immediately play a newer version of that same generation, and you'll see what's wrong with it. It's poorly coded. There's a lot of bugs. It's just all over the place in terms of pacing. It's just not a timeless game. Let's put it like that.
Oh, that's rough, man. I like Pikachu. I like the yellow version. Well, of course, because I like the Pikachu.
But even apart from that, I just mean
so
Generation 1 in general. Like red, blue, yellow, even gold, silver. They didn't age great.
Oh, man. So you didn't like any of those?
I did when they came out, but they did not age well. And I like the region. I like the Pokemon that are in that region, but the games themselves didn't age well.
I don't know how you would make it to where they would age.
You don't.
Well,
you just play Fire Red or Heart Gold.
Yeah, that's that pretty much solves that. I to be fair, like I like them, but I played them so long ago that I can't remember.
Yeah, play them now and you'll see what I'm talking about. But to continue with Bianca's comment, she said, I completely forgot Pokemon World Championships was this week, so all of that news punched me right in the face while I was trying to eat. Oh, well, then our podcast is serving its purpose. Thank Arceus you're here. The first thing I thought when I heard the word competitions was the beauty contests that the beauty contests were back, and I was really excited because I'm a girl and we like that sort of thing. But it's cool that they're embracing the competitive scene more. I personally haven't competed since my dad passed away. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
although I never really got far enough that you would have heard of me. But I might get back into it again now that there's a more streamlined and gamified way for me to practice. Basically, hearing your saga with Pokemon Trainer inspired me, so if I ever become champion, I'll be sure to name check you, AJ. And yeah, it's kind of a meme now, but a lot of channels owe their success, or at least growth, these past 2 years to the Switch. I came to your channel for Pokemon, and I like the Bob abuse on stream, but wouldn't have gotten Wolf Den on my recommendations if I wasn't frantically searching YouTube for any and all info on what was then only known as the NX.
Yeah, that I agree with that whole, like, they owe a lot of the channels that I see now. Honestly, I think that's of course how I found you, was through Switch stuff. I found you through that, RGT through that, the whole Gambit, Spawn Wave, Arlo, beat 'em ups, all the whole player essence of the whole Gambit. I found that through just looking up Switch stuff, because I still like, for instance, with Spawn Wave, I remember when he was legit, like, he literally just had like 58 subscribers when I found it. Like, just, yeah, like, I had more than him, so just let that sink in. And I don't think I'm anybody on here. And yeah, look where he's at. Started from the bottom, now we here. That you guys wrote. I don't know where you at when it started.
The thing
but
about
yeah, they
the
definitely
Switch Wave that I regret is I wasn't really there at the beginning. I did like a couple NX videos and they did pretty well, especially for the size that I was when that happened. But I wasn't able to fully like jump on the train because I was in transition because I used to live in Florida and I moved from Florida, and then I didn't have all my stuff for like 4 months since when the Switch came out, so I wasn't really able to like really jump in in the Switch's early days. So I kind of missed the boat on that. But later after the fact is when I got the Switch hype for future Switch games and like that sort of thing. So yeah, that's how that happened.
Yeah, gotta say, man, it missing that wave, or at least the bulk of that wave, it hurts.
Of course
man.
It did, because that's like the difference between 20,000 subscribers and 300,000. Yeah. So, but there's
I'm just saying, I'm right there with you.
The next thing that everybody's like, oh, you just got to be able to pivot and like talk about what everybody else isn't talking about when that thing comes out, because that's what happened with the Switch. Everybody was like, or a lot of people were like, oh, that's a new Nintendo thing, it's going to flop. And then it very much so did not. So just like the SEO on Switch stuff was phenomenal because a whole bunch of people didn't want to talk about it. And then there were people that like, nah, this is going to be a big deal. And then they talked about it and it blew up.
Yeah, I think the best thing we'll probably do now is to ride the trend of what you're doing, but also it's so cliche to say it, but like zig while other people zag, so to speak, or whatever.
Exactly
but
what you need to do.
Yes, yeah, you really do, and that's what I'm going to try to do. And God, man, I'm gonna pray that actually like works, because being in the depths, it's I'm not really a fan of that. I'm really like, I hate it. I have to think so hard, like, meticulously, like, all right, what am I gonna do next for the next video? Because I haven't put up videos recently because I'm trying to make this buffer to where I can put out a video each week and not miss it, and not have to scramble and edit and do like, because it takes so much time to do, and then you got life stuff you got to deal with too. So that's what I'm trying to make a buffer just to deal with that. And hopefully you'll get, and I'm pretty sure you probably will, because you are painfully consistent. So hopefully you can get up there so we can get you like an editor or something. That way you can easily produce stuff as editing. I mean, I don't know how you are with editing, but for me,
the biggest thing for me at this point, just because I'm so used to my workflow, is scripting. That's the thing that takes me the longest. Editing is not really that hard because I already have a lot of the edit figured out while I'm scripting. So it's really just that step that takes me.
I try to do that too, but I think I just kind of suck at it. But I did this little crash course thing to where I can learn Premiere and After Effects a lot better. So we'll see how I do. How I'll do on the next one. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for me. And I think actually when she mentioned that legit might have been the same way I found Wolf Den, through you, because I think I ended up coming across you on his podcast. I think that's how I found him. That's that odd.
I mean, there's people that have done that. It's not as much, obviously, because he has a lot more subscribers. But there are people that like found me, and then like there's people that found me that still haven't watched Bob. Like that sort of thing. Because there's always going to be that person that's like, nope, this is the one that I like, and this is who I'm going to watch, and that's it. So you'll have that with anybody. Like there's people that are subscribed to you that are like, no, I don't want to watch him.
Yeah, and that's fair. I think what attracts me to watching Bob is he has that kind of matter of fact, kind of cynical, kind of, and I resonate with that too. I try to be optimistic and positive too, but I think that's my default nature is, look at this. But that's just me. I think I like you guys, or at least your videos a lot, because you have this real chill kind of. I'm not gonna stroke your ego or whatever, but
I don't take that stuff to heart. Like it's like I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I'm glad that people like it. I don't really let that sway me one way or the other because I feel like that could mess it up.
Good. Well, this will be like I guess the first and the last time I overly gush on you, but I feel like it's something that you need to, just because I can't stress it enough. I relate to that. Like it's so much easier said than done, and then you want to act like, because I see the garbage on YouTube that does gangbusters, and it's just, it feels like it should be a felony. Like this makes no, I ain't gonna lie, it pisses me off. This pisses me off. Yeah. And so that's why I have to give respect where respect is due. Like I would do you any other channels that I watch that do like really quality stuff and they're criminally underrated. Like another one, like hopefully you don't mind, Splash Wave. I don't know if you ever seen that, dude. When you get done, other than JoJo's, please watch JoJo's. Splash Wave does phenomenal videos. What he does in his videos is he actually pre-renders graphics himself. He makes the graphics himself and they look spectacular. He makes them 3D, all that stuff. Like the video essay stuff or the other stuff, the kind of stuff that, you know, regular YouTubers would do that actually give a crap about their content. He models his content. Like he models the stuff. Just check out one. You don't even have to watch it for long. You will see exactly what I mean. Stuff like that, your channel and stuff like his and other channels that do stuff like that, I hate it so much that it's so good, but nobody knows about it. And it's legit depressing.
Yeah.
But that's why I felt the need, or at least on this, like, again, I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to make it a habit. I feel the need to give props. I always want to give people props where props is due, because I don't feel like a lot of people, especially like I said, have the whole underrated thing and nobody really tells you that you deserve to get those props. And with that, I'm officially done with giving you your props.
People in the comments are going to be like, yeah, but that one time where the edit did, like, the music was too loud, or the focus, or, you know, it all evens out on the internet. This dude sucks, man. Mark Andrews says, damn. Oh, for context, a lot of this is like responding to stuff that we said in the podcast. Somebody, I think it might have been him. Somebody asked if I had a Nintendo or gaming related tattoo, what would it be? And I said, I don't know. If anything, maybe like like Pokemon sleeves, like all the Pokemon, like as sleeves. And he was like, damn, full sleeve Pokemon tattoos would be cool. For work purposes, I could only have half sleeves, but it is something I would consider. Luckily, I work on the internet, so, like, who cares? You know, what am I going to say to me? But he said, as for my question regarding level 5 in Game Freak, for context, he said, he asked if we think that if there's anything wrong with their transition, because they used to be a lot more active, or at least it felt like they were a lot more active on, like, the 3DS than they are on Switch. And whether or not, like, the transition to HD is going to, like, cause their output to change at all. And we basically said in the beginning, yes, probably, but eventually they'll get the hang of it, because they're going from 240p games to 1080p games, and that's a huge jump. But he said, I personally would be happy for these companies to make smaller $40 games on the Switch while ramping up the studios. But level 5 specifically, I feel there is no excuse for not getting worldwide releases sorted anymore, with the Switch being region free. Yokai Watch is a decent sized franchise, and having to wait a year for an English version is really poor. I'd agree, but at the same time, like, if you don't have the supply chain for that, you know, like, you're not already set up to release a game worldwide, it's a hard hill to climb. Because, like, even, like, companies like Funimation, right? There'll be an anime where it's like, this one is simuldub, and you'll get it the same time that Japan gets it. But not every anime is like that, because they don't have the bandwidth to do that with everything. And because, like, that's a very specific process, and you got to partner with people in a very specific way and have all your eggs in a row, it's hard to do that with every single show in your portfolio.
Yeah. I think you just saying your supply chain was actually just better than that, like, as a whole. Like, it's when you don't think about the nuts and bolts of the stuff, you know, to be able to, or at least especially with the physical, like, if you like, hey, we want to do a physical copy of it, it's a lot easier said than done. And having to scale it and take care of that supply chain and have those things in place so where you can get it out in a consistent manner, it's easier. Because I don't know, I have no idea how much money the people that own Yokai Watch have, like, what their like, I can't really speak on it too much, but just business in general, you have to. I don't see Yokai Watch much, so I'm in my head. I'm not thinking that
it's smaller now, but in Japan at least it was Pokemon, and they thought that it would be Pokemon worldwide because the first signs of Pokemon being Pokemon was in Japan. And in Japan, it's like
Yeah.
selling 3-4 million units per game that comes out and stuff like that. So they're like, oh shoot, that means because 4 million units in Japan is like 12 million units here. Like games don't sell that well in Japan compared to here. Obviously, there's not as many people. But it just ended up not doing as well, and now it's starting to taper off and not sell as well generally. So I think that's also a lot of it, where it's like not only does it not do as well as it did in Japan here, it's starting to not do as well as it did in Japan.
Yeah, and that's a tough hurdle to jump. Like I remember I tweeted the guy that I forgot his name, but I follow him on Twitter. The guy that was responsible for getting River City Ransom Underground put on Steam, as far as how much I would love to see that on the Switch too. This was, and funny enough, this was like a couple of weeks or maybe so before they announced the River City Girls, which I can't wait to get that. I love River City. But I tweeted him at how much I would like that. I don't know if it's in his nature, but he was like, he gave me like you could read it as like a smart comment. It was like, bro, man, I just said it would be nice, man. I didn't tell you do it. But it seemed like a sarcastic comment. But he was like, I think it was like, do you have like $80,000 that you don't mind me not giving back to you, so we can get it over?
I don't know. That could be.
Yeah,
it's hard to read context over the internet. He could have just been.
Exactly. Without tone of voice, it's really hard to get it. But anyways, without having that big, massive, like that amount of cash behind you, it's a lot easier said than done to do it. I see what that person meant when they were saying Yokai Watch is like a decent sized franchise. It is, and it seems to be shrinking. But yeah, even so, you have to have a lot of cash to pony up to be able to take care of your economies of scale and all that other good stuff. So I think they have the funds. It's just, is it worth doing? It's less so about do we have the money to do this? Is it worth spending the money to do this because it's so front loaded? It's a lot of money up front, and then later it becomes cheaper because you have those chains established and your process is set up, so it's like, do we think Yokai Watch 5 is going to sell well enough to make this investment for Yokai Watch 4 a smart move? Agreed. Yeah, to be specific on that, it's just that that little hurdle. Like once you get past that, you can make a lot of extra money on it. Just like the guy with that underground comment. If they can get on the Switch, you can make that money back and then some. Like I know it will. It's a simple beat 'em up, easy to pick up and play. It does have some name recognition. That's how River City Girls got announced. So it can be done. It's just having to get over that massive hurdle. So yeah, I'm with that. I just Mr. Andrews, cut him a little bit of slack. It's easier said than done.
Right. Grimhane says, AJ points out, okay, for context on this, last week I had a little Twitter beef with a friend of the show, Izzy Nobry, who has 2 YouTube channels. One, Izzy Nobry Show, and another one's Brazilian. So I don't know if you need to know what that YouTube channel is unless you speak Brazilian. But I think he has a link. So if you speak Brazilian, go to his American or Canadian one, and then you'll find it through that. But anyway, he's like, I mean, let's just call a spade a spade. He's a Nintendo hater, for a lack of a better term. And he's like real up in arms about Nintendo Switch Online. He thinks that they're taking too long to do the retro games, and he thinks that he's owed the retro games because the retro games are on other platforms, and if he can steal them, then he should be able to get them through Nintendo officially. And when the rumblings started happening for the SNES games, because they patented the controller and stuff like that, everybody started talking about that. And he's like, we don't even need it anymore because you can already get them on, like the this emulator or whatever the case may be. And I basically was like, nah, that's stupid. So we argued about that, and he's like, oh, you're just a Nintendo fanboy and all that other crap. So Grimhane Said AJ points out facts about Nintendo Switch Online and its value. Izzy whines because it's not tailored to exactly how he wants it to be. Logical people realize that the way the economy works is supply and demand. If Switch owners create a significant demand for, quote, better Nintendo Switch Online experiences, then Nintendo will do something. And the way you do that is with your wallet, not with your camera. Izzy insists piracy is A-OK, because while he has access to the Nintendo Switch Online NES games, it's not an ideal method for him. Logical people, piracy is literally a crime, and since you're paying for Nintendo Switch Online anyway, Nintendo doesn't have any incentive to change things. The only thing they have an incentive to do is come down on piracy, which, surprise, surprise, they have done repeatedly. Izzy whines and rants. The actions he encouraged illogically do not have the desired effect, despite the mountains of evidence that should have informed him this would be the case. Yep, pretty much.
I'm just tentatively listening, like, wow, I didn't know there was like a Nintendo hater.
Day,
was it Izzy?
Izzy's cool. I'm cool with Izzy, but this is something very specific that we disagree with each other on, and he does these little jabs at, like, oh, Nintendo's like so stupid because they don't let me play Pokemon on my smartwatch, like that sort of thing. And I'm like, maybe it doesn't matter. And then since I have a Nintendo channel and I'm a Nintendo brand ambassador, he automatically is like, oh, well, that means you're on the take. Like, you're only saying this because you're a Nintendo fanboy. And it's like, meanwhile, every video on my channel, I'm like, hey, Nintendo, this is what you could do better.
Yeah, I can already see how this is playing out. Yeah, it's just like how if somebody's pissed off with the company and then their first point of contact is talking to like customer service. It's you did it. Like, dude, I'm just here, man. Like, relax. So yeah, I can already see how that's playing out. Some of the criticisms, it's valid, but I don't think it needs to be taken to the nth degree of the way that it sounds. Like, the online, definitely, I mean, everybody knows that it's pretty much, even Nintendo as Nintendo's got to be, should know to some degree that the Switch Online should definitely be a lot better than what it's a given, but it's not that serious. Now, I think this person, I don't know the whole context of everything this person does, but this is from what I'm hearing, you should grade the industry on a whole. If you graded Nintendo and the industry on a whole, you would see Nintendo is far better. Like, it's far, 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 far up there. Like, you don't last as long by being hot garbage every step of the way.
Literally a century and a quarter years old. They're the oldest game company.
You don't survive this long for no reason. So I mean, come on now. But anyways, yeah, a lot of that's it's undue credit. Like, there's this one video. This comment actually reminds me of I forgot what channel did this, but they were talking about pirating anime or whatever. Like, piracy and they made a fairly a good case for it. I can see where this person is coming from. I definitely. Yeah, so you already know what I'm thinking about here. It makes honestly, I
don't think there's any good case to take something that you didn't make. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people's defense for taking things, especially taking media, is like, well, it's not actually depriving you of anything, but at the end of the day, it's something that you made. So you have license to do with what you made what you want to do. If you drew a picture, right, and you wanted to sell that picture, it's not my right to take out my phone and take a picture of your picture and then start doing whatever I want to do with it just because I can.
See ya.
So it's like just how people view intellectual property, their logic behind it is like, well, I want it, and you're not giving it to me. So I think that's just like a slippery slope where it's like, well, I want your house, and you're not giving it to me, so I'm just going to take it.
I agree with that. It's just funny.
The only thing of separation for that is then they're like, well, then I'm inconvenienced. That makes it different. Like, them being inconvenienced, that's okay, but me being inconvenienced, that's a crime. It's just like, I'm slippery slope.
That's just like, that's general people logic. If this bothers me, then it's an issue. But if it screws somebody else over, hey. It is
or
what
thousands
it is.
of people
So
over. It's like, oh, if it's a corporation, that's fine. That's fine. You can screw over thousands of people, but one specific person, that's way worse.
Yeah, it's one thing that you'll like. Another thing that you'll get from me. Yeah, context matters. But context is painfully important to me. So yeah, you end up screwing over like lots of other people. I will say it's kind of funny. Just the people with that mindset, they just hear that Pirates of the Caribbean music in the in the back of their head, like "Arr, take to the seas, mateys." So yeah, it's an interesting comment. But I'm not gonna disregard Izzy's whole thing because there's some valid criticism there. It's not, I don't agree with it completely, obviously, but I see what you mean. You might want to see some things from a different perspective, though, Izzy. Even though I'm pretty sure you probably.
I mean, I think
hear what I'm saying.
obviously Switch Online needs improvement. I think Xbox Live
Yeah.
and PlayStation Network also need improvement. But I'm not going to sit there and be like, I demand you to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, if it's not a good enough product for me to pay for, I'm just not going to pay for it. You know? And
Yeah.
that's just the end all.
And then criticism. Yeah, and then criticism's fine too. Let me be clear on that. I'm all for criticism. That's how you get better.
There's a difference between critiquing something and just blindly hating on it. You know, like you would receive. Let's look at it in terms of like what we do, right? You would receive a comment better if they're like, "Hey, man, the script kind of does like it kind of drags on at this part." Rather than somebody being like, man, this is such a boring video. You don't know what you're doing. You need to stop making YouTube videos. You're garbage, you know? Like, that. There's a way to critique without being an a-hole about it, you know?
It is like 100%. You know, you made me think of I Hate Everything when he went over that. I don't know if you've ever watched him, but yeah, that's pretty accurate. Like, yeah, if you say, "Oh, this is hot garbage," it's like, "Hey, thanks for the criticism." Like, it's not even criticism, man. You just insulted me and just left. You didn't tell me how I could improve, or hey, maybe you should do this. Yeah, like it's that old adage: you attract more flies with honey rather than vinegar. Like, I'm not gonna like listen to you if you just dump garbage on me the whole time. I'm gonna tell you to piss off. But yeah, if you approach me in a respectful way, like, hey, you know, maybe do this, that, and this and that instead, then, you know, okay, that's a fair point. And there's a lot of blurred lines with it because some people can't take criticism for some reason, and that's a whole nother can of worms. But yeah, just, you know, come with the criticism, don't come with the insults.
Yep. Moving on to the Discord questions. Patar35 says, what do y'all think will be in the September Direct? What September release are you most excited for? As far as releases that we know about already, Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
What do I think will be in the September Direct? I don't know. Hopefully Metroid Prime Trilogy. It's too much smoke for there to be no fire.
Yeah. It's tough. If I was Nintendo, what I would do is I would release it probably on average. Honestly, I release it like a year probably, or a year and a half before it comes out, just so it's fresh in everybody's mind. But there's a business thing in there too, so it could come now. I just wouldn't count on it. But I also don't know what they're thinking.
Lines of thinking for this for me. I think either you release it significantly before Metroid Prime 4, like now, just to keep Metroid on everybody's minds, like while they wait for this game and maintain the hype, or you do release it within like 6 months, so you keep the hype train going. I think either one could work equally as well. Because there already is like a level of Metroid hype going, and to sustain hype is pretty important. That's why like Sony announces their games 4 years out, and then they keep announcing their games every year for the next 4 E3s. I think that's the same reason why it could work for Nintendo to do either or in that scenario. And just like for current us's benefit, it would just be a good thing to have this game now, you know.
It would. I think that's. I mean, I really don't even have anything to add to that. As far as like anything extra that I would like to see for a September Direct, there's really nothing really. It's a lot of stuff is I would expect what I would expect as far as going over games that we already know exist. Like I said, Strikers would be something that I would like to see, like just another, hey, I didn't expect this coming. I would like to see some more third party stuff, but I wouldn't expect much as well. Maybe like 2 or 3.
Here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's definitely a question about that here, so we'll get to that.
And definitely a Smash reveal, like just like last year where you had Isabelle.
About that.
All right, well I'll leave it at that.
Mega Man 087 says, "I saw you bought Yu-Gi-Oh. How have you found it so far? Talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. It's fun." Moving on, YouTube community post. Sam Diaz says, "Why is Donkey Kong Country the best Nintendo franchise?" It's not.
Oh, that's
Donkey
rough.
Kong Country's dope. I love Donkey Kong Country.
I do so much. Everything about it. I love it so. What would you say is like the best one?
I mean, obviously this is such a subjective thing, but it depends on the day. I would say currently, just like what game I think I would play the most and continue to play the most for forever is Smash Brothers. Before Ultimate, I probably would have said Pokemon. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield, I guess would be like, well, he said franchise, so Pokemon. Smash Brothers, though, I got deeper into it with this game. The deeper I get into like the competitive scene, the more I like this game, or this franchise. So Smash Brothers definitely has become like the sleeper hit of my top tier game franchises, because I always liked it, but I never liked it to this level. And to say that, I mean, like, I did this whole thing of like, there was like one of those Twitter trend things of like, tweet out like the first game that you think of for each Nintendo console generation or whatever, right? And I was basically a joke of me being like, NES, Super Mario Brothers, SNES, Link to the Past or something like that, right? N64, Smash Brothers, GameCube, Smash Brothers, Wii, ... You see where this is going, right? And then I just didn't do anything else because it was like I was just going to say Smash Brothers for all of them. But like honestly, that's probably it. Like those probably are the games that I played the most, starting with N64 on those consoles specifically.
Yeah.
So probably Smash.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Smash too. I've been playing it since the 64. I grew up on it. Absolutely love it. I'm trying to figure out where exactly I would put DK in it because I love the crap out of some DK, but I wouldn't say it's the best.
I did a tier list on all game franchises, or most of them, that I've played.
Did you?
Yeah,
I didn't see that
a while ago. I'll see if I can find it. Not right now, but later, and I'll send it to
that's
you.
Fair.
We did a whole episode on this of this podcast, but I think I put Donkey Kong in like B or C tier. Probably B.
Man. That's offensive.
So like
okay,
within
B,
Nintendo,
right.
I would say it's probably like my fifth or sixth favorite franchise. Like off the top of my head, I would say like if we're not counting Smash Brothers, because Smash Brothers is kind of like a hodgepodge of all the franchises. I would probably say in terms of what I like subjectively, not necessarily the best game. I would say Pokemon, Mario, Zelda. From there, which one? Metroid, then Donkey Kong, then Kirby. No, Animal Crossing higher than Donkey Kong. So put Animal Crossing in between where Donkey Kong is. I forgot Animal Crossing existed. Also, put Splatoon right under Pokemon. No, under Mario. Between Mario and Zelda. So that's the order off the top of my head.
That's rough, man. It sounds like Donkey Kong needs a new game.
Yep. I mean, Donkey Kong like alright, but like, in terms of 2D platformers, I would pick Mario over Donkey Kong any day.
Oh man, I have to go the opposite, dude. I have to go the opposite way because I think Donkey, just 2D specifically, I think Donkey Kong, like as much as I love Mario, blows the doors off.
How dare you have a different opinion?
I'm sorry, man.
It's not allowed.
It's so
it's
tight.
Not allowed to have different opinions than me on this podcast.
It's so tight, dude.
It's all right. I mean, he's too heavy. He's too heavy, and it plays like that. And I like the Donkey Kong games, but like I think that's the deciding factor for why I don't like it as much as I like Mario.
Yeah, I mean, to each their own.
Yeah,
But,
in other words,
oh
I'm the
man,
one that's
so
right. I'm always right. Moving on. No.
this
But
guy,
what would you say is the best Nintendo franchise?
man. Well, yeah, like you said, when you take out Smash Brothers, because that's the one I always default to. It's tough to say because I feel like, as far as what I think is objectively better versus what I like personally more, I think those are two
Yeah,
different
because like
things.
in
Like
no universe is Pokemon a better game than Mario.
yeah, it's not, absolutely not. As much as I like Pokemon, as far as what I like the most, as far as like next in line after Smash, I like Zelda the most, but I do kind of, I think a good chunk of that is because of the lore, because I'm a big
Yeah.
lore person. After that, it's tough because Splatoon has kind of risen the ranks for me just because it's so recent in my head, because I can just pick it up and play it real quick and then like, all right, time to get back to work, and I can just put it down immediately. Um, yeah, it's tough. Splatoon's up there now, and objectively, I'm not gonna say it's like a 5 out of 5 game. I don't think that's the case. But I enjoy it
I
a lot. Like
think
it's
I
really
think that
fun.
as far as like the gameplay and like the core mechanics of Splatoon, it's up there. Like if it's not 5 out of 5, it's 4.59. um, but I think that a lot of like the online infrastructure and like that sort of, and like how they handle playing with friends and like the map like selection situation, like that sort of thing, I think that holds it back. But it is like a good game in
It
terms of
does.
like design and like that sort of thing.
Agree. I'm gonna tell you that now. It definitely does, because that's its Achilles heel to me. That's why I couldn't just like it's
Yeah.
up there. It's up there, but that it dude, because I played those matches, like, man, this is so great. How many people disconnected this time? Like, dude, it would be like 2 versus 4. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
great.
I mean, as far as like
So
disconnects, and I've talked about this in the past, I don't really experience that. Like in terms of like connections, I've seen people rage quit, but I've never like had a bad connection. I think it's more so just like everything around that. So not necessarily like on the technical side, the online being the problem, more so how they handle it on a logistic side of like, okay, this is when this is going to be available, like this is when you can play on this map, and you have to do this before you can play with your friends, and when you can play with your friends, you can only play with your friends in this mode, and this mode, like that sort of thing. Not necessarily like the like how well the online performs, because I would say in terms of like Nintendo games, that and ARMS are their best online games in terms of performance.
yeah, I hope Arms gets a
I
sequel.
don't think it will. I mean,
feel like
maybe it will. I
deserves
don't know. It's just the team that makes that game makes so many other franchises that perform so much better. So it's like, hey, work on a franchise that has one game that sold 2.5 million units, or work on Mario Kart.
Yeah, I mean, it's that same, like, the whole issue with the type of videos you put out. I know it's the like it's pretty much tit for tat on that. So I understand. That's why I said that I hope
Maybe if
that
they
it
put
would
it on
get
a
a
different
sequel.
team,
I wouldn't
where they
expect
do the,
it.
like garage situation where it's just like a hodgepodge of like, how many times am I going to say that during this podcast, of EPD? That's the second time of EPD devs. Then maybe it can happen that way, rather than doing like an official like setup team of like, all right, let's put the Animal Crossing team on this game.
Yeah.
But moving on to the next question, F-Zero Kid, aka Falcon, says, "Are you Team Popeyes, Chick-fil-A? Fast food is trash and you shouldn't eat it, or don't care?"
Man, God, I really don't want to come off as middle of the road, but to me it's all of the above, and I'll tell you why. Popeyes, I like the crispiness of it. Chick-fil-A, I like the more natural tasting flavor of it. Doesn't feel as, but at the same, I do like that Louisiana in the Popeyes, but at the same time, I try to avoid it too, because if I stare at bread, I'll gain like 30 pounds. So I really do like a legit, like, I try to do the whole grains, fruits, vegetables, turkey, chicken, like just whether it be baked or grilled or whatever, not like fried or anything. I try to do all of that. And then at the same time too, you don't need to be on like a painful, like avoid. It's good to avoid it, please believe. But life is for living. You only get one. So, try to enjoy some stuff, but definitely don't shovel garbage like all the time into your face. Like, moderation with everything in life, balance and moderation.
I'm not going to say, I think don't care is a misnomer for this. But I don't really have an opinion on which one's better out of those two, because I only get very specific things from both of them. Where it's like, if I'm going to Popeyes, I'm probably going to get like some chicken tenders. And then if I go to Chick-fil-A, I might get like a chicken sandwich. But now Popeyes.
That's it.
So who knows?
That's it's funny. I get like whenever I do, I get like a 5-piece with like green beans, and that's it from Popeyes. I don't really just get like the straight up chicken. Chick-fil-A, I'll probably get like a salad from it. That strawberry lemonade is pretty fire. But other than that, I try to like I said, I try to avoid it and try to be a good kitty, drink like plenty of water, all that other good stuff.
Yeah. As far like, and also like, if I'm going to order food, it's usually going to be like a local place or something like that. Just because it's easier. Because I can get that. Well, I guess Chick-fil-A is not on like DoorDash or nothing like that here, so I can't get that DoorDash. I might be able to get Popeyes, but Popeyes, like, they're probably stupid. They're probably like on like Uber Eats, and their delivery fee is probably like $12. And I'm not doing all that. Like, that's wild. So yeah, inconclusive, I guess. Sleeping Jackal says favorite Switch game so far, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
That's it's gonna be a very boring answer to have the same thing as you, but dude, I mean, what can I say really? I'd like for another one to be. I like for like Three Houses or Super Mario Maker 2 or something, but it's Smash, man. What I'm gonna come back to at the end of the day, the most overall, is gonna be Smash. God, it's such a boring answer to have the same one as you.
Pretend that I don't care how good Pokemon Sword and Shield is. There's no way that's going to become my favorite Switch game. No way. Mark my words, people. Grimhane, I know you're going to be the one that's like, if I change my mind, he's going to be the first one to tell me. But it's not going to happen. Sorry to tell you. I'm already resigned myself to that. But like everything else is like default second place. So if we're talking about second place, I would say Mario Odyssey. Mario Odyssey would probably be my second place. Then Breath of the Wild.
That's a good choice. I think I would actually I want to flip it. Which one would I come back to the most?
See,
it's kind of a.
I always try to go back to Breath of the Wild, and I'm just like, because like such a big part of Breath of the Wild for me was that I didn't know what was going on. Like that was a big reason why I liked playing it so much. But now that I know what's going on, it lost a lot of its luster. I think Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna like reinvigorate that and make me want to play it again. But as far as like restarting Breath of the Wild, I never get past the first Divine Beast. After that, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I got what I needed to get out of this. I got that first vista. I walked out of the Shrine of Resurrection and got that cutscene that gives me chills, and I'm done. I'm never playing it again. Until the next time that I get to this part and then start the game over again and do all that crap. So yeah.
I think it needed more enemy variety. I think if it had more of that, I definitely would be all over it a lot more. But I guess to be fair, I do kind of get off on bullying bokoblins. It's such a fun pastime, man. Just thinking of creative ways to piss them off, like give them a Korok leap and have the other knock the other off like a cliff. Like, dude, it's so stupidly fun to do that.
I think that even if they had more variety, it would just prolong that time. It wouldn't make me go back to it more often. It would just have made that initial session longer, or that initial playthrough longer, I should say.
I guess I can give like as much as I like all right, so I like Zelda more, but I think replayability definitely goes to Odyssey as much as I like Zelda. Odyssey's got that nice jungle gym effect where you just go nuts, have fun, flip around, have a good time. So you can come back to it.
We're getting long, so I'm gonna speed through the rest of these questions. Rapid fire answers. Mark Andrews returns with another question and says, "What OMG? How did they port that to the Switch game? Do you think will be announced in the September Direct? Do you think bigger Xbox titles could arrive on the Switch? I'd love to play State of Decay, for example. Cheers." What's a big game that I would be like, what? At this point, I wouldn't be surprised in terms of like technology, because The Witcher is like amongst the like most technologically impressive games of this generation. I guess the next thing would have to be the next CD Projekt Red game, which is Cyberpunk 2077. But I think the only thing that would surprise me at this point to come to Switch is a PlayStation game. That's it. Everything else, I'd be like, I could do that.
Yeah, Cyberpunk was the only thing that I had in mind, because at first I was thinking, for the longest I was thinking GTA, but I feel like that ship sailed. So that's the only one that I had in mind. I'm still surprised that Outer Worlds was actually announced.
There it is. Ghost Parker, Rip Parker from the grave says, "What secret have you never told anyone, but will tell me right now?" I don't think bacon's that great. I don't think I've told the internet that.
Oh, that's rough. What's a secret that I've never told anyone? I think I accidentally one time, without thinking about it, I think I poured sweet and sour sauce into a glass. Like, I don't know what happened with my brain at that point, but I was about to drink it. I didn't think anything about it. Just, here you go. Guess I'll drink up. My brain was just off.
All right. Max from Loopod says, "That's it. I'm following all your guests until I'm back on, and they have to return the favor. So check your Twitter and follow him." He said, "P.S. This anti-England thing you've had going on the past month has been noticed by me." What are you talking about? All I'm saying is cheesecake is pie, and this tart nonsense is stupid. Anyway, he adds, "Oh, but also give me your top 3 September Direct headlines. Mine are Metroid Prime trilogy news, an update on Bayonetta 3, 4th Smash Fighter Pass character that counters Pokemon Trainer." To respond to your picks, that counters Pokemon Trainer. I think the only character that could like counter Pokemon Trainer like well and like be a hard counter would be another Pokemon Trainer. So if that was the case, rip you, because I'm just gonna also play that Pokemon Trainer. As far as 3 things that I would want to hear, I'm gonna steal yours for the 4th Smash Brothers pass, and I want another Pokemon Trainer. That's what I want. I want the next Mario game. Announce that. Doesn't have to be Sunshine, but give me the next Mario game. It's been too long. And then Overwatch on Switch. just throw one out of left field. Overwatch 2 on Switch.
I think that's, well, that's a good left field. For me, all right, Governor, as far as what I would like to see, definitely been waiting for the longest time to get information on Bayonetta 3, so I'm right there too, because I love me some Bayo. Like I said, that 4th character for the Fighter Pass, considering the fact that they happened in June, and considering, February 2020 I would assume be the cutoff point for this Fighter Pass, I think it's about time for that 4th one to go ahead and make that appearance. I could see that happening there. You took my Overwatch thing, because I would love to have Overwatch, but also have like Samus as like an exclusive character for the Switch. I know, yeah, that already had that locked and loaded and ready to go. I absolutely would love that.
Fox is an Overwatch kind of character.
You got me.
Because Samus isn't really weird, Like, they already have a Samus equivalent or whatever, right? Like, because Overwatch is usually like, this is the new archetype, or a new archetype that we're adding to the game. And Samus isn't really a new archetype.
Yeah. How would you do Fox? I know you said rapid fire, but I'm sorry.
I don't know. I don't play Overwatch. I haven't played Overwatch since freaking 2016. Are you crazy?
You made it sound.
No, that's why I went it on Switch, so
made
I
it-
actually play this game. But I don't play it now.
Oh man, you got me.
And I have it on Xbox and PlayStation, but it's not 2016 anymore, so, you know. But put it on Switch, and I'll play it for 2020, and then I won't play it after that. That's how this works. But that's all the questions that we got. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I hope you enjoyed having Matt here. It's a great time. Great time.
I hope you did too. I hope you guys got
If
something out of it.
you liked him and you want to subscribe to his channel, I'll be sure to link it in the description. But other than that, Parker's going to be back next week, so figure out how to resurrect him to make that happen. Goodbye.